All right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Last Pull podcast. I mean, here we are. We got Canon on. We got Darren's not 180p camera Darren's, but this will be fine. But yeah, welcome to the show. Excited to chat.
Yes, I did wash my hands, Shin, and thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
So I heard that we were just talking before we started, and you said that you were like a professional golfer in another life or something, or even now.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with that?
Yeah. The two main things I did throughout my entire life since I was a kid was sports and mainly golf. That I actively played was golf, but I was big into sports. Still am big into sports. Big sports fan. But I did golf and a lot of video games, and that was pretty much my life for the longest time. I played golf competitively since I was a kid, since I was 8. Played all around the world, all around the nation, all around the world, and I played professionally for a while, and then retired. Close to, I want to say like 28, 29, almost 30. I think is about the time I retired. Pretty much 30. And I retired pretty much in China. I was in China at the time, and a big part of the reason why I retired was because the golf instruction business is quite lucrative there. So I had an opportunity to set up a golf academy in China, and I pursued that. And that was pretty much when I stopped playing and focused on the business side of things. That's golf academy, golf instruction related. And I went to China, set that up, and later on, like 4 years later, I set up a golf academy here in Korea with my partner, and that's been going, that's been running stable for the past I don't know, maybe 5-6 years. Damn, it's been that long.
Wow, that's cool though. That is super cool. I can't say that I know anybody else that is doing something like that. That's really neat.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, most people are pretty surprised. Like the people that I know from golf are very surprised when they hear that I play video games now for a living and I stream and I do YouTube stuff that's not golf related at all. And then the people that I meet through gaming are very surprised that I'm a golfer.
Yeah.
So,
because you could definitely have done like YouTube golf stuff as well, especially considering that you know this for content creation, right? You could have definitely gone for that.
I'm so sorry. I took my headphones off for like 2 seconds there. I apologize.
It was a good time because Darren's was talking, honestly.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry, man. That was rude. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking there.
No
yeah.
No, it's okay. No, I just found it very interesting because you definitely go for the MMORPG type of content creation. You could have definitely done golf, and I mean, probably been as successful, if not more, right? Which is I think is very interesting, right?
Yeah, honestly, I'm very confident that my golf YouTube channel, had I chosen to pursue that, would have been pretty good. I definitely have a lot of value I could bring content-wise, I feel like, just because that was, my whole life was tailored to be a golfer, right? I was fortunate enough to have parents that really supported me and gave me very good high-end golf instruction my whole life, like the full 9 yards when it comes to golf. And that would have been great content to share. But if you play a video game, the same game every single day for decades, no exaggeration, decades, for anywhere from 6 to 12 hours a day, you get a little bit less passionate about it. So for me, I did not want to do a YouTube channel around golf at all. No way.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's kind of funny. MMORPGs can be like that as well. Like a lot of MMORPG YouTubers are just stuck with one game and they play that forever and they get burned out as well, right? But you, of course, do multiple ones, so I guess you don't have that issue as much, right?
Okay, I have a super important question.
Yes.
How did your parents react to your love of video games? Because I imagine they're like putting you in all this golf training and then you're just gaming, right? And then now you're gaming as like a career. And look, my parents hated it so much that one time I woke up in the middle of the night to like make a YouTube video or something because I got some ping on Twitter that some news had dropped. And they caught me making a video at like 2 a.m. and they ripped my computer out of the wall and took it away for a week. They were like really hardcore. So when I hear the story, I'm like, the world of golf and the world of video games feels like such a a different world. I mean, obviously there's some skills and things that transfer over, but like, what did your parents think?
Yeah, no, you're right. Especially because I'm Korean and my parents are Korean, and my mom specifically was like, she's like that stereotypical tiger mom, very, very much a disciplinary figure, very strict. I mean, you know, I was in my 20s and I would go out, quote unquote, partying less than 5 times a year. So it was pretty intense, the type of lifestyle I was living. And I'm a very extroverted person. I love doing things like that. So it was a struggle in my you know, late teens and early adulthood. But to answer your question, um and again, my mom was a disciplinary figure. Gaming was interesting for me because I loved gaming. The two things that I was the most passionate about my whole life since I was a kid, baby, was video games and sports. That was it, right? So, you know, sports, I'm obviously, you know, doing that, and they're supportive of that, obviously. And video games, what I would do is I would practice, and I would go home and I'd just play video games all night. And my mom, we absolutely got into it plenty of times when she felt like I was playing too much. But generally speaking, as long as it didn't impede on my golf, right? If I wasn't getting like 4 hours of sleep and then going out there, as long as I was getting sufficient sleep and it wasn't directly impeding on my golf, my mom was actually okay with me playing video games, because not only did she know I loved it, but she also recognized that it kept me away from going out, going partying, you know, drinking and all that stuff. She would rather have me stay home and play video games. And she kind of utilized that as a parent to keep me out of trouble. So, but at the same time, like you said, like if I stayed up, we got into plenty of fights where I stayed up way too late and she would yell at me, and, you know, she would threaten me, you know, with all the video game stuff, taking away stuff and all that stuff. Yeah. So, later on, so like when I actually retired, my mom she really wasn't strict on me anymore. She was strict on me because I was playing, right? I was an athlete. You know, distractions are a very big thing. And you know, when I started working and I started my own business, it was pretty much, I was just living the life that I wanted. She didn't, you know, she wasn't on me for anything. And on my own time, I just decided to pursue content creating while I was making money. And both my parents didn't really know about me pursuing YouTube and Twitch as an actual focus and occupation that I wanted to pursue. And by the time they did find out, I was making money. Like I was making some legitimate money. And if I'm making money and I'm treating it like a profession, you know, they're very supportive of that. So it's funny because my mom used to be, when I was growing up my whole life, she was always like, turn off the game, you're playing too much. And now she's like, you need to go play games. You know, she's like, you need to go stream, make money. So it's kind of gone 180. Yeah, it's kind of gone 180. So now she's very supportive of me playing video games. And it's like what golf used to be. It's now video. It's been replaced by video games from my mom's perspective. So
yeah, it's very interesting. It's very cute. It's a good compromise for sure.
That is so cool. That is such a good background story. I just imagine like golfing, and then one day you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go live, and then boom, they're like, what? Like that's such an interesting shift. And yeah, as you articulated, right? I'm sure people in the golf scene are also really fascinated by that. But it also goes to show that if you're really passionate about something and you have some skill and you develop that skill, you can really do anything, and that's cool. That's really cool.
I agree. Yeah. I kind of got introduced to the world of content. So my last year in China, of all places, I had a lot of time on my hands because I was getting ready to transition out of China. And that last year, I had to stay there for obviously, you know, work reasons and business reasons. And during that time period, I had a lot of time on my hands. So I was playing BDO in China on the Southeast Asian servers. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to learn about content creating while I'm super free. So I didn't do it with the thinking that I would be doing it professionally or pursuing it seriously. I just was very interested. It was fun. You know, a lot of people get into streaming because it's just fun, right? They just want to they want to do it, right? So I got into it a little bit, and the more as I tried it, the more I was like, well, I really enjoy doing this. I think I can be good at it. And just the whole, not specifically streaming games, but also just the whole concept of building up a channel. It was very reminiscent to building up a business, and I'm very much like an entrepreneurial type of person. I like building things, right? And that's what pretty much hooked me. And then I obviously moved on, didn't even think about doing it professionally or seriously. And then fast forward a few years later, my golf business was, doing pretty well, and I going out every weekend and drinking, meeting girls, all that stuff. It felt pretty empty. Felt like I was wasting my time. Certainly was wasting money. I was like, you know what? I'd rather do something more valuable with my time. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to pursue content creating. And ever since, I've been going pretty hard at it. So there's
So what
I
game
guess,
did you
life
start out
story in
with
a
then?
nutshell. Streaming wise, or as I discover what helped me discover streaming?
Maybe both.
So Black Desert Online was the game that helped me to discover streaming. That was the first game I tried streaming, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. What could I do to kind of build viewership, but not with any intention of being a big streamer. I like at the time, the thought of having even 100 viewers in chat was like a Super Bowl crazy dream. Not even a dream, just like a crazy feat that would be super cool to accomplish. And if I don't accomplish it, I don't give a fuck. Type of mindset. Sorry, I don't know if I can curse.
You
on
can do whatever you want.
Your thing.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
my ears.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, like the YouTube stuff. I don't know. So, yeah, I was with BDO. BDO is when I started to discover streaming, and that's what sparked my interest. Fast forward I want to say a couple of years later, when I decided that I wanted to pursue content creating seriously and actually do it. That was with a game called Elion, but it was more of a gateway to Lost Ark. I knew that. So when I decided to do it professionally and do it seriously, what I did was I sat down and I created a game plan for how I was going to grow my stream, how I was going to grow my channel, and the big first step for me was to try and grow with the launch of a new game. And that game was either going to be at the time New World or Lost Ark. And I thought Lost Ark was going to be a better option. Hindsight, it was. And I did everything for, I don't know, maybe like 6 to 9 months to really prep for Lost Ark. And it started with me going into Elion, because Elion was an MMO that came out earlier before that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to use Elion to grow just a little bit, get a little bit of a stepping stone, start, and then pivot into Lost Ark. And that was kind of the start of the whole streaming thing.
Yeah, it's interesting because I started watching you because I feel like you did the same thing with Throne of Liberty. You kind of prepared for that game, put a lot of effort into knowing the game before it launched, and then just kind of went with the wave. And I'm not sure, but I guess that was very, very successful too for you, right?
Yeah, Throne was very big. Throne was probably the I don't know if I could say it was the biggest push. I think Lost Ark was the biggest push for me, because that helped me go from quite literally no viewers. I guess not literally no viewers, but like 40, 50 viewers to I mean, with the launch, I actually started averaging in the thousands, like 1 to 2K.
Jesus.
For a little while, and then once the hype went down, and the quote unquote dust settled, I was anywhere from, it was a big rage. It was anywhere from like it depended on who was in the category, but anywhere from like 300 to 600-ish viewers, peak concurrence. And from going from like 40 viewers, that's massive, right? So that was a big jump for me. That got me on the map. That got my name out there. But for me, I didn't want to be a Lost Ark streamer for forever. I didn't want to be a one game Andy. I wanted to be an MMO streamer, MMO content creator. And the next, I got bumps along the way. I actually got a little bit of a bump from my coverage with Diablo, Blue Protocol, all these games. But the next biggest bump was definitely Throne and Liberty, for sure.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that is definitely the way to get into content creation for sure. A lot of people kind of ask like, how do you get to it? But you really have to just grab something that you know is gonna be like interesting for people and just put a lot of effort into it and just go. And if you do it well, it definitely can work.
Yeah.
So you've been getting into Guild Wars 2 now. Trying it out.
Yes.
You know, you're trying to. I saw you trying out Ragnarok and a few other things recently, but I'm very curious about your. What did you hear about Guild Wars 2 before you tried it?
Okay, so by the way, is there something I can adjust on my side? Because I feel like, yes, there it is. I feel like the volume for Darren's is way lower than yours. Snap.
Yes, I've had to change that.
Yeah, so I think I can just
him.
turn you down. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's better. Okay, so Guild Wars 2, I actually was technically a day one player. So what do I mean by that? Well, when it first came out, I was still living in Virginia, or no, in Florida at the time. So I was living in the States. And I believe it was the last year I was living in the States before moving to Asia. And while I was in the States, I played I played as much Guild Wars 2 as I can because I love the SPVP. So I never did anything outside of like the beginning MSQ for Asura, you know, very early. Like I didn't even come close to completing a zone. I just essentially made characters, went to SPVP and played SPVP. I played my first class was a Bleed Trap Ranger. Second class was a Phantasm Mesmer, and the next class I played and for the rest of the time I played a Bunker Guardian. And I did pretty decent back then. It was a much different game though, because now you got 70 billion different specs. Back in the day, it was a lot simpler, way less classes, way less specs. You know, so that's what when I played Guild Wars 2 back then, that's when I knew the game was fucking good. Right? Like the combat was great. I understood the concept of map completion. I never experienced it, so I couldn't appreciate it. But just the combat and the PvP alone was like, is great. So as I started to cover MMOs, fast forward way later, you know, I knew in a nutshell what the game had to offer. It was a horizontal game. Sure, it's got dungeons and raids like any other MMO would have. But I had a little bit of a bigger appreciation for it because I knew the combat was super good and the PvP was there. Because World vs. World was also there, and it was, even back in the day, it was considered to be very fun. I never did World vs. World ever. I was just an arena rat. But yeah, I always knew it was really good. So it was really exciting for me to get into it now. It would have been honestly a death sentence for me to cover the game before Throne, I guess, because that was when, you know, it's difficult to change game categories. You know, everyone's pretty much subject to their game, right? But then once I was able to build up a community that was consistent enough for me to go to different games and check it out, and that interest was there, I was like, yo, Guild Wars 2, I'm definitely going to play it. I was just kind of looking for the right time to dive into it. And so yeah, on the back of my mind, I knew it was going to be a good experience. So there is definitely a bias going into the content coverage. But at the same time, I genuinely am experiencing all these things for the first time. Right? Like I have no idea how fractals even worked. I was surprised that it was this, you know, tier 1 through 4, level 1, you know, level 1 through 100. I didn't know any of that stuff. I've never seen a single raid. You know, I haven't seen anything. So I'm really excited to be able to cover a game and go on this little journey that I low-key almost know is going to be a good experience, but I also get to experience it for the first time. You know what I mean? Because generally when you experience something, you don't know if it's good or bad. This is one of those interesting moments where I'm kind of like, I'm like 99% sure it's going to be good. It's a matter of seeing it. Sorry for the long answer.
No, it's a very good answer, right? I found it very interesting because there's a lot of people who played back in 2012, and a lot that, you know, stopped playing because the game, you know, it just didn't have the perfect launch. And then a lot of people like come back, especially after the pandemic. There was like a lot of people coming back to MMORPGs.
Yeah,
and they just come in here and they just can't, you know, sometimes they can't leave. That's definitely what happened to me. Do you think do you think your expectations for the game met? What actually happened, or what until now? What do you think?
So far, so right now I am halfway through Living World Season 2, and so far almost every aspect of the game has exceeded my expectations. I would say there are two things. Yeah. It was better than what I was expecting. And I was already going into it kind of expecting a good experience, right? So the two things I would say that weren't very good is obviously the new player, certain aspects of the new player experience. I think the new player experience is way better than boosting. When you boost, it's over. It's over. It's one of the worst new player experiences if you boost. But to be fair, that's kind of like every game, right? So don't boost. Okay, so if you don't boost, I think the initial part where you just level up, go through the initial campaign, I think that's fantastic. It's pretty simple, bro. So you do the main story quest, and then you got to hit level 10 to continue. Fucking go out and do whatever. Complete the map. Very simple. But then the issue that I see for new players is that once you hit 80, and you hit 80 fast, you actually hit 80 very quick. It's not even like you get to 80 by expansion wars. No. You get there way before you even finish the core storyline, right? Once you're at that point, and it's like MMO brain, I want gear. I need to gear up.
Yeah.
It's a horizontal game, but you still got to get to that cap, right? The game does a god-awful job walking you through the gearing process. To this day, I still don't know all the ways to even get exotic gear. Fuck ascended gear, like even exotic gear, right? And then I learned through my chat the process and the best ways to do it. And the way you get geared in this game through what's that? For exotic or just the gear in general?
Yeah. What did they tell you?
Oh, for exotic, the way I got is I just got gifted a set. That's
there it is.
So the first thing they told me was to obviously just you could buy it on the auction house. That was the easiest way. You get a little bit of gold. If I'm not gifted it, then you get it on the auction house. So in my mind, because I could just buy it on the auction house for very cheap and I could buy gold, it was never a concern for me. But if that was not the way you wanted to do it, then the other ways to do it, and this is generally the answer for everything in Guild Wars 2 that I've noticed is, oh, bro, you just play the game.
Yeah.
You do everything. And you can get it. And to me as a new player, that's not an acceptable answer, right? That's not an acceptable. It is, but it's true. Not to say that they're wrong, right? I understand why they're saying it now, but it's like not the answer I want to hear, right? So, and then obviously you can get it through crafting, right? So, So I think getting back to the root of your question, I think the game does an awful job walking you through the gearing process, which is arguably the most important thing for an MMORPG, certainly for a new player, in my personal subjective opinion. One of the most important things, I should say, one of the most important things. And what's shitty about all of this is I actually think the gearing process, if you understand all the systems, it's actually quite good. It's pretty good. I think the crafting system is done pretty well, and the way you get mats is done really good. I think it's great you can get through the Wizard Vault. I think it's great you can get it through World vs. World, through SPVP, through just doing literally everything, all the content that the game tells you. I think it's great, but it's just not explained. It really isn't explained to a new player.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons why is this the case. Oh yeah, sorry, you can go.
No, I just wanted to dive in. There's something really interesting.
I'm so sorry. Before you do that, before you say that, let me just. I said two things, right? The second thing, this is a really quick one. The second thing is I thought the core story and the way the core storyline ended with the Teatime boss, fucking terrible.
Yeah,
from a story perspective, don't worry about it. That was the worst ending fight ever. Yeah.
You can watch Preach's reaction to that. He will say the exact same thing. It's very funny.
Yeah. That was the other downside. Everything else exceeded expectations. Yep.
So with the gearing, when you talk about this, I always find this quite fascinating because I would agree with you wholeheartedly that it's a little bit opaque. You get into the game and it just kind of drops you in the world. And it doesn't really introduce you to gear or really any systems. It just kind of says, go, my child. Be free into the world of Tyria and see what happens to you. When you're looking at gear, do you feel like it also doesn't really explain the importance of stats and combinations and builds? Do you think it's just, that's kind of just like gone in the game, or are you more so like just acquiring armor in general?
Yeah, I think the game also does a terrible job with what is important. Now, to be fair to Guild Wars 2, though, this is pretty much the case I've noticed with every MMO. You know, traditionally with MMOs, you have stats, right? That's just you have strength, vitality, all these stats, and it's like you can find out what these stats do, and almost every MMO explains it, but you don't really know what's good or what's bad. You don't know the combinations, right? So it's not that this is specifically a Guild Wars 2 issue. I think this is just something that you find with a lot of MMOs. Excuse me, like the importance of stats. But Guild Wars 2 specifically, the way they do their gear sets is they have like these stat combination sets. For example, Rampager, right? Which is like precision condition damage and whatever the last third set. It's like a condition set. And then you have like Berserker, which is like your ferocity, power, and precision, your crit, right? So like I understand how they have set that up. For me, it was never an issue. That was never an issue because I played SPVP back in the day. So I already kind of understood how they went. I knew, like I forgot for a sec, but then when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is the same shit as SPVP. Yeah, Berserker is the DPS set. And if someone said go Rampagers, I would have been, okay, that's the crit condition set. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, you know, so Assassin is the same, but a little bit more into precision rather than power. Like it was very easy for me to grasp because I had that SPVP experience out the gate. But a new player, definitely I could see being confused by that and not really knowing what the value is. And they would absolutely need to have their handheld to know what stat they want to go for sure.
Would it surprise you to know?
A lot too. Oh,
sorry, you go first. You go first this time, Stan.
No, I lost it. I forgot it. You go. I just go.
Oh no!
It'll come back.
Okay. What I was going to say was, would it surprise you to know that a lot of players don't engage with the gear system at all, and so they don't actually. Some players don't even have like any accessories, rings, or anything on, and they've played like 1,000 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an MMO where you can do that, and that would, I mean, I could definitely see that being Guild Wars 2 for sure. Because I mean, it's not like when you go from exotic to ascended, you're just doing infinite damage, right? Like I was playing Crystal of Atlan not too long ago. I upgraded all my shit, swiped for it, and I am quite literally doing like 100x the damage next thing. You know, like you don't get that big of a gap. You know, exotic to ascended, you're not getting that gap that big. And I think the game does a pretty good job of that. Obviously, there's going to be a big damage difference between someone that has, you know, no accessories and, you know, and masterwork gear versus, you know, full ascended for sure. But yeah, I think just the horizontal nature of it, this would definitely be the game that you can do that in, where you'd see more of that. But I did not know that. That's pretty surprising.
Yeah, and
if you're
maybe
playing this game for that long, why wouldn't you get the gear?
It's because it doesn't matter, which is why your takes on gear and stuff in the game are so fascinating to me. And I think it's because you've played other MMOs that you kind of expect there to be a gearing system. You're more apt to learn it. But I feel like a lot of people jump into Guild Wars 2 as like a first MMO. They get in here and they have no idea how any of the systems work. It's not explained to them, but they go around and everything dies no matter what. At least in core, right? Everything just dies, and you're given a gold medal for everything. So everyone gets this like massive ego, and they think that they're the commander, and nothing can touch them. Everything is super easy. So I think they just don't think it matters. Now, obviously, that's just my perspective, but yeah, I think it's really interesting that you've engaged so much with it, and I guess it makes sense given that you've done lots of MMOs and PvP and stuff. But a lot of people don't.
Yeah, actually,
I'm more of a numbers guy. That's the thing. There are a lot of different types of gamers, obviously, right? Some people that like to play it casually. They don't care about builds. It's just like, tell me what to play, and I just want to enjoy the content. I just happen to be the type of gamer that likes to know the numbers. When I was doing SPVP back in the day, I was the guy that was trying out every different set, every different trait. You know, like I was messing around with different things. I love that in an MMO, and that's what I really liked about Throne and Liberty as well. In Throne and Liberty, there are a lot of different ways to build a certain class. So that definitely attracted me. It's going to continue to attract me for Guild Wars 2 as well. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't aware that there were that many people that were running around gearless. That's kind of crazy.
I don't even think it's necessarily the majority. And I don't know if it's exactly gearless, but you can imagine that a lot of people, they get a green trinket from whatever, and they just kind of throw it on there. You know, they probably don't necessarily engage with it very much. They just go, oh, like I'll just fill the slot with whatever. Everything seems to be dying. And they just kind of enjoy the story. I think a lot of people play Guild Wars 2 very solo, actually. Is that something you find in other MMOs, that a lot of people end up playing quite solo nowadays? Or have you experienced that at all with Guild Wars 2?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely sense that in Guild Wars 2 for sure. I think every MMO, the majority of the player base is actually solo. I could be wrong on that, but it's certainly more than what most people think. The casual player base it makes up for a large chunk of the pie when it comes to all MMO communities, right? Like even Throne and Liberty, there, which is very guild centric, very group centric. Even a game like that, man, there are a lot of solo players out there, you know, and there are even more that are solo players that might be in a guild, but you know, 90% of their 90 to 99% of their personal experience is they're just playing it solo.
Interesting. I also want to ask you, especially because of what Snap said, how have you found the difficulty of the game in terms of story? And well, I mean, I'm guessing fractals as well. Like, what do you feel like? Because Snap said that everybody finds it very, very easy. Do you feel that way too, or what is your
so
experience?
I don't know what's gonna happen with the raids, but so far the common denominator with almost every PvE instance we've gone through so far, because we've been doing literally everything again from chronological order, including the 40 dungeon, 50 dungeon, all that stuff, 30 dungeon, 40 dungeon. It seems that the difficulty is more with just the mechs of the dungeon itself, getting through the dungeon, rather than the actual final boss fight, which is quite different from other PvE games we've played. I'm sure that changes. I mean, Strikes is, from what I've been told, is literally just a boss fight, which is pretty cool. And I have technically done one raid in Guild Wars 2. Technically. There was a boss fight that came out with Janther Wilds that I was sponsored for. So it was like a 2-hour segment where I had a boosted character. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing or how the class was played. I just went in there, joined a random group, and I was at my friend's house because I was out of town. I was at my friend's house, joined a random group. And they were, by the way, they were super nice. Yeah, like I'm just like
a 10-person group. It wasn't 50.
No, it wasn't 50. It was a 10.
Okay, so
I think it was the latest
Wow.
raid that just dropped.
Jeez.
And it was like, I don't really remember it. So I will walk you through what I remember. It was some kind, it was some kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a musky looking area. I don't know if it was a tree or something. It was definitely Janther Wilds. Went in there. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm dealing Z. I know I'm dealing Z. I didn't have a DPS meter, but I know I'm dealing Z. And everyone is super nice. The guild commanders are the raid commanders are super nice. I'm streaming, so I'm paying attention to my chat. Don't give a shit about Guild Wars 2. I don't really care to learn. So I'm just like in there, standing where they're telling me to sit, where everyone, not even where they're telling me to sit. I'm standing where everyone else is standing. And I'm just there, what I see is just AoE circles, and I'm just smashing my buttons, and then I eventually die, probably maybe 5 minutes into the fight, and that's it. So if I go when I go and experience that fight with my streamers here, I will definitely recognize, oh, this was that fight, but I will have zero idea how to actually do the fight. I will have zero clue. All I did was go in there, sit, stack on top of with everyone else, and then people started to move, and I didn't know where to go, and I just died. And I felt bad, but I'm just thinking to myself, all right, listen, man, I've got about like another hour. I've got another hour.
The cool part about that experience was that people were probably particularly nice because the content had just come out. And so everybody was just trying it for the first time anyway.
Yes,
so it was kind of the perfect time to just jump in. If you did that now, I think, if you're streaming, maybe there'd be some charity. But I think if you joined a random group, and try to do a random group, there'd be some more expectation, right? Like people would be like, okay, what do you mean you're doing 1K DPS, right?
It was bad. It was bad. This is how bad it was, bro. I don't even remember what class I played.
Oh boy.
That's how bad. Like I don't even know. It was a boosted character. I shit you not. It was a boosted character. I got in there. I had no idea. It might have been a ranger. I don't know. The character isn't even on my account. It's just, it was bad. It was bad. But they were so nice. Yeah, they were so nice. Yeah, the people in there were super nice.
That's gonna be an interesting. Whenever you go back to the raid, that's gonna be a good experience, an interesting experience.
For sure, that one along with all the other ones, man. I've been told there are 8 raids, and fortunately for us, 3 of them is in the first expansion, which means I'm close to the first expansion. I'm really excited to try those raids out. And sidebar here, one of the things I really like about Guild Wars 2, this is strictly from a content creator's perspective, I could tell my friend to come join us for the blind raid the day of, and he can come boost his character and do it. That's one of the things from a content creator's perspective I fucking love about this game.
Yep. You don't have any big gearing you need to do like in WoW. You can just go in and experience it, and it does feel very good. It's definitely one of the best parts of the game. Yeah,
there's a lot of skill expression. I find that the game is mostly, and I think you might agree with this, the game is very knowledge based, right? Those who know can succeed on pretty much anything. So it's funny when people complain about meta and specific professions and stuff, because if you just know how the bosses work, you could kind of play anything, like the boosted brand new character on the new account, and just kind of get in there. You could just do it. There are a few limitations and exceptions to that, but very knowledge based.
Yeah, and especially if you have the experience, right? So like, I take it both of you guys know the raids pretty well. I take it. Yeah. Well, I would probably bet money, right, that me and full ascended, I would do less damage than you in a raid that we experience together, and I'm blind and you know the fight, and you're in just the base exotic celestial gear that you get on a boosted character. I would bet the house that you would still shit on me in DPS.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think that's how small the gap is in terms of actual gear power, and how significant, obviously, knowledge of the fight is, the uptime on DPS.
Well, isn't exotic like 5 to 10% or something? Like it's not very much. Like as far as,
but even like celestial, like let's just say that I don't die. Yeah, let's just say I'm a pocket healer and I will never die with full DPS ascended set. I think you still win an exotic celestial against me. Because
I think it depends on the build, but I like if I was forced to play exotic celestial, and I had to play DPS, I would probably play some kind of Condi build, and I would still be pumping 20k probably. Yeah.
Speaking of that, real quick. Speaking of that, would you say for a new player? Okay, not. So I'm not. What I'm going to ask you is a comparison between power and Condi builds. Okay, so not at a medium level or a higher level, but as a brand new beginner that does not know a fight, that does not know their patterns, that doesn't know their rotation very well, like a new player, right?
Okay.
Would you say there's a bigger advantage with condition builds DPS wise or with power builds DPS wise?
Where specifically? Do you mean like in fractals,
in a raid,
or in a raid? So like. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a very complex answer, but I would probably generally say power. And the reason I would say power is because if you think about this, you're going to be learning all the mechanics all at once. Power has a high burst and then drops off, whereas as Condi kind of you ramp up and then you stabilize. So I would say power, if only because if there's any downtime, you just do your burst again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I would also argue that there's some qualitative stuff to that. Like if you want to use the build in open world, some of the open worlders are going to hate me, but I see no reason to ever play Condi in open world ever. And the reason is because everything dies too fast. And so you're just not effective. Like you kind of do nothing.
Okay, when you say open world, you mean just like going around map completion and stuff like that?
Yeah, meta events, etc.
Well,
okay, I gotcha.
I don't know if you, because I'm like kind of the meta guy, like the wall boss guy. Meta is a weird term in this game, but essentially it's just big wall bosses. And power is definitely what you want to go for. And not to say that Condi is not useful, not to scare anyone. Like at the end of the day, Condi can be very good. But power just has a slight advantage in most content. There are exceptions, of course, but power is definitely good. And also it's easier to gear, which is super nice.
Yeah. I just prefer, I'm more of a power guy. I've always been more like just physical direct damage. Yeah.
This is a really hard question because there's always going to be an exception to the rule. People are always going to disagree about this to some extent. Like even in the chat, people are saying this, and there's some truth to this. There's a lot of Condi builds that tend to be ranged, and if you're concerned about DPS uptime, then ranged builds are better, right? Because your positioning matters less when you're ranged, if that makes sense. You'll always be hitting the boss. And then there are some builds that tend to be a little bit easier that are also ranged. And so that kind of compounds. But I mean, look, I'm going to tell you right now, if you were playing NG there, without spoiling what the build is and stuff, there is a build that you can play on an elite specialization for engineer that is extremely easy to play and is ranged and is power. And I would argue it's one of the best all around builds, if only because it's simple to play, power and ranged.
Wait, what class is this?
Oh, well, don't spoil it. Well, it's going to play only engineer, that now.
But I think you should go figure it out.
What NG is it? No, what? No.
Did you actually want to know? Because I wasn't going to spoil, but I can tell you what the build is. Okay.
No. It's okay. No, I don't mind being spoiled with like, hey, builds, like this is good, this is bad. I just don't want to be spoiled with content. The raids and dungeons and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's power mechanist. Power rifle mechanist is crazy good.
Mechanist is isn't it the pet class or something?
Yeah. Well, there it is.
So half your this is hyperbole, but like a lot of your damage just comes from the mech, so it kind of plays for you. So it's really low APM, and you just blast. You just sit there and you just press all of your buttons off cooldown essentially, and you will do like 35k plus DPS at range.
Very forgiving.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
There are actually Arena had started going through that route, trying to make like easier builds because the game. We can ask you about that too. I think it's pretty complicated to start with. It's very intense mechanically. There's a lot of buttons to press very fast. So they started going for like, let's go this easy build like mechanist. Or I don't know. Have you heard about pistol Deadeye by any chance?
No, I've seen a Deadeye build where he's just sitting down and shooting a rifle over and over again. I've seen one of those. Yeah. Is that what it is?
It's not. That one is actually hard to play, but this is another version of that where you actually just press one button and you do good damage.
One button to rule them all. Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
But
can I ask you guys a question?
Sure, you can ask me anything.
Sure.
I'm gonna ask you the traditional new player question. Okay. Here's the thing. You have to give me an answer, but here's the kicker. It has to be a one-word answer, unless it's a class-related question. So unless the class is obviously like 2 words, 3 words, whatever, that's fine. So, but like just one answer, okay?
All right.
Not PvP, just PvE. What is the best class in Guild Wars 2?
Mesmer.
If you have to choose one. Mesmer?
Yeah. Mesmer.
What kind of Mesmer?
I was gonna say Chronomancer specifically, but Mesmer. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Chronomancer?
All around, it's Mesmer, hands down. Anyone arguing anything else is just wrong. Mesmer has the most utility as Portal. It has Blink. It has the ability to distort, which invalidates half the mechanics, as crazy numbers of blocks. It is very powerful, particularly Chronomancer. Like right now, I could boost a brand new account, play Selly Chronomancer, and I would be able to do all the raids just fine. It's incredibly powerful. But
and even if you don't play
Mesmer in general
Chronomancer,
is good.
Virtuoso is insane too. Yeah, Virtuoso is it's great. It's one of the reasons why it was the meta in the hardest fights in the game for like a long time. Right, the
That
portal.
looks like a cool class.
It's
Virtuoso
super
looks
strong.
like a cool
Holy
class.
crap. Like, look, think about this.
Really?
You're throwing daggers at like 1200 range. And if you play Condi, 3% of the damage you deal converts into health. So you self-heal. You have a distort, which is essentially your emergency button. Makes you invulnerable. And then you also have like all this utility, like CC. You have crazy CC. You have all this extra damage. You have portal. Like you are so powerful. And then not only is there a Condi build like that, but there's also a power build that's pretty reasonably powerful too. So Mesmer just has crazy good builds. Yeah.
Sneb, I gotta ask you something, man. Not to put you on the spot, but I gotta ask you, man. Are you playing the game right now?
I'm in a group. So every night at around this time. So yeah, I'm basically on autopilot, just kind of running around with them.
Okay, interesting. You're just
bored.
I don't know of too many podcast hosts that call for a scheduled podcast and then start playing games during their podcast.
When I say podcast, it's just a chat.
I'm just like, this guy.
I thought you were too. I thought everyone was.
No, of course not. No, I can tell Darren's isn't.
No, I'm not. I'm the ADHD guy, and I'm not playing.
Like, well, I'm the ADHD guy too. But
here's the thing: I am not putting it. This is your podcast, sir.
Yeah, this is what I do.
I have no issues with it.
Yeah, no, this is what I do.
I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know because I'm like, your facial expression was like, I think he's playing, but then like as you were just talking just now, I'm literally hearing this.
Are you?
True.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually doing that as a. It's funny because I'm not actually like doing anything. I'm just like sitting here tapping my keys because it's a nervous twitch.
Okay. Oh, really? Oh, that's funny. Yeah. That's funny.
I do it all the time. I'll be in like Zoom meetings.
This guy must not be. I'll be like, this guy must not be playing Mechanist over here because that guy's like, this guy's going this way, right?
I'm playing the second easiest build, which is Heal Necromancer, but we'll.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, like when I do like chats and stuff, we're always usually just playing the game and like hanging out. So that's when I say podcast, I don't make it like super serious. It's supposed to be just casual. We're all just like vibing, right?
That's
how I do
sorry, I just wanted to. No, you're good. I have no issues with it either. Just saying, I was just
okay. You can make fun of me. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's just what we do. Yeah, I guess I'll give you some context. Like, I don't know how much you know about me, but I played the game like forever. I played since the beta. I played Guild Wars 1. Just always been a Guild Wars fan. It's kind of funny because I don't really play other MMOs. I just don't really have a desire to.
Really?
I just never have. I don't know why. I tried Classic WoW for the first time in January, and it completely changed my perspective on MMOs, though. I was like, holy crap, like this game is so good. Why have I not played any other games? So every once in a while, I do think about it, but it's kind of weird for me to try another game at this point, it feels like. It feels like I'll always be behind if I play another game, and maybe that's kind of the... That's just how... That's the trap.
No,
right?
you're not alone.
Right?
No, that's the reason why everyone's always seeking the next MMO, because the next MMO everyone starts on ground zero. It's also the reason why fresh starts are always popping off. It's like, you catch up with you're not behind for sure.
Yeah, the era of the seasonal MMO definitely seems to be here for that exact same reason, right? Every MMO is doing that. I guess Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that issue as much because, well, it's horizontal, but at the same time, it does have that issue because there's a lot of skill in the game, so you can really catch up with that skill in a lot of times, right?
I guess keeping up with meta and stuff with just new classes and skill specs and weapons coming out for sure. Like right now, the game, even though the actual gear power is the same now as it was back when I played at launch, the game is so different. There's just so much more to understand now. Like, again, back in the day, SPVP was a very different game. You didn't see these like roguelike guardians. You know what I mean? Mesmers were either Phantasm or Shatter. You know, it was one or the other. You know, you see a thief, you know what the thief is going to be. You know, you see a warrior, you know what the warrior is going to be. Minus really like a couple of variations. But yeah, now it's like, what the fuck what am I looking at right now? It's like, oh, that's a XYZ. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Well, it's actually even worse than you understand, because the game used to be such that specific boons were tied to very specific elite specializations or classes. So if you had like a chrono, you knew what they were doing in your group. But now there's pros and cons to this, but they expanded it so that basically everything can do everything. And when you have people in your group, there's no way to tell who's doing what. There's no like gear check. So you're just sitting there and you're like begging people to tell you what's going on because you have no idea otherwise. And it has a big impact on your groups, right?
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Actually, it is interesting that you remember. Do you have a very good memory? Because like you remember a little bit of how PvP was back in the day. Do you think like you can like do you see a few more differences between PvP now and before, especially in terms of like tempo and all this other stuff?
The pacing of it, there's just a lot more. It just feels like there's a lot more classes. The maps are there are more maps, obviously. I would say it feels faster paced, but honestly, it just feels like a more convoluted version of the original, if I'm going to be honest. Oh, okay. Like what Sneb was just saying now too, the classes were more distinguishable. You know what I mean? Versus now you see a necro. I mean, you guys know because you see the elite spec. For me, when I see a necro, I have no idea what the fuck that type of necro is. I should be, you know what I mean? Like that versus before you kind of knew what you were getting with what. So yeah, I didn't play I wasn't able to play that much, but I played enough to appreciate it, I guess, if that made sense. If that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's interesting because a lot of people really like elite specs because it's so it's so much variety in terms of role play, and you can be a spellbreaker or a bladestorm samurai or whatever. But this is obviously a very, a real consequence of it, right?
So I think there's a lot more flexibility now too, right? With the builds, like back in the day when I played, there was a time where I think they called it Zookeeper Ranger, and there's just like there's no point in playing anything else other than Zookeeper Ranger. It was just like you summon all these pets, and I think it was I think it was like a home node. It was like a single. It was a class. I think you played it like home node, and it was like a 1v1, 1vx class. You would essentially, it would be very difficult to take the point from them. And there was just no other ranger spec that was as good. You could play like a trap ranger, but that was subpar. Whatever role a trap ranger filled, some other class would just objectively do it better. So that was out. And then you could play this weird like longbow build, power build. Nope. Also another thing that just performs objectively worse compared to everything else. So if you're a ranger, it was like the Zookeeper Ranger. You know what I mean? And that was what it was. It was way more defined. And there are obviously pros and cons to that. The con is like, well, that kind of sucks that if I play a ranger and I want to compete SPVP like legitimately, I have to play the Zookeeper shit, and I feel like it's that in that regard, it's probably better now. But I also think it was way more competitive back in the day. I apologize for those of you who are SPVP rats that might take offense to that. But I just say this because back in the day, there were a lot of like really good PvPers, and there were like tournaments, and it was like they were trying to push it as an esport. Obviously, way more players that played during that period as well. I just remember some people were the NG that I remember, his name was Teldo. He was really good. I watched him a lot. And there's this guy that played Shatter Mesmer. I forgot his name, but he was really fucking good. And the guy that I watched a lot because I was trying to learn how to play Bunker Guardian, I think his name was like Kayput or something, Kaypud or T or something. But he was like a really good Bunker Guardian. Yeah. And that's one of the things I liked about the PvP, and I still do like about PvP in this game, especially SPVP. It's like, because of the rule set and the way it's done, you are defined by how well you play a role. It's not about how good you are in a 1v1 duel. No, you know what I mean? It's like that guy that played Barter Guardian
now though.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm just starting to get into it. I'm struggling a lot, obviously, because I'm trying to play this. I'm playing Wilbrender, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And right now, I don't even have my rotations down. I forget, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still learning my class, let alone every other class. So I'm getting shit on still. But,
do you want me to comment on PvP, or do you want to just like see what happens?
Sure, please. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because I'm a PvP Andy. I played like 7,000 matches of PvP. I mean, obviously there's people that probably have more, but I really loved the game. Most of those games were done in 2015 to 2017. I played a ton of PvP. So right after Heart of Thorns. Really loved it. Also watched a lot of other creators try to learn the game. I played mostly NG. But the game now is so different. The average APM has increased substantially. And as you noted, it's far more complex. When they made it so that all the weapons from every elite specialization could be used by your class, they opened up the possibility of like a billion other variables. Like there's so many variables now. There's like a million builds.
So many.
So when I see somebody, I don't know what they're playing.
As a new player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, even at your level, you don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm not like the best PvP player ever, but what I'm saying is that there's always a question. It's like, okay, well, they could be running this weapon instead of that weapon. Obviously, there's like a meta, and so you kind of learn the meta, but it's just so much deeper and more complex than ever before, and it's way faster than it used to be. The game was always pretty fast, but now, like, I can die in like 2 seconds. Like if you have to essentially play in anticipation all the time. You have to anticipate the next move. And if you don't, you're just dead.
Yeah.
And I actually find it quite frustrating having played the PvP of old, because PvP now, there's a lot of gimmick builds. There's a lot of like extreme bunker builds. And it's really challenging to play. You're right. It's way less competitive, but not necessarily for the reasons that you would think. Well, I think partly those reasons.
Yeah,
but
I think it's less competitive because of the numbers. Just strictly because 100%. Of the numbers. Yeah. I think the complexity. I feel that way too. I don't know. Here's the thing. It's been so long. You have to understand. It's been like over a decade since, especially about the SPVP days when I played. It's been so long. 12 years. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think if you took the players back then and the amount of players that played back then and put them in today, and let's just say they had the same amount of time learning and studying the game, I would say I would imagine that the skill gap would be greater than it was before, just because there's so much more knowledge that has to go into it, right? With so many different builds. Like you said, like, you know, as a willbender, even me, I've been able to like almost one shot, not really one shot, but like really, you know, like within 2 or 3 cooldowns, just 100-0. It's great.
I hate it so much.
Back when I played, the only 2 classes that I remember that had quote unquote scary bursts that you had to watch out for was a thief and a shatter mesmer. And it took a decent amount of setup, I think, to be able to execute that. I could be misremembering, but that's what I think I remember.
Yeah, I think for mesmers, bursts are pretty. Yeah, you have to press all the buttons very, very fast and in a very good sequence. And I think the other thing with the problem with this elite spec is that every elite spec not only has one build but has multiple builds. So like, okay, I know what a harbinger does, but like, what type of harbinger is it? Like, which weapon is he using? What type of, like, you know? There's like so much. Yeah. It can be very intimidating for that reason.
As a new player, I think that is going to definitely intimidate and turn a lot of people away. But I think that's, as someone that enjoys those types of things, I personally love that. I love that. I really like the fact that there are a lot of different ways to play and a lot of different viable builds, and the fact that you see what you said, harbinger, and you're not really sure what type of harbinger. I love that shit. I love that type of complexity. For me, it's like a Path of Exile angle where it's like, yeah, you know, it's going to turn away a lot of people, but if you really get into it, you start to really appreciate what's on the table there. You know, what's on the menu, what's possible. If anything, that it's encouraging me to play more. Honestly, like, I kind of want to play more. Yeah,
I'm glad. It's actually kind of funny because it in some ways incentivizes you from wanting to get better, or like it's scary because like, oh my god, there's so much to learn. But at the same time, it's super fun because you can always play something else. Oh, like I got bored of that build. Let's try this other one.
For sure.
Right. And honestly, that's one of the best things I personally like about Guild Wars 2. Even in PvE, it's like, okay, there's a lot of builds in one spec. In there's like multiple Untamed builds, multiple Soul Beast builds. And just fun to try them all, and there's a new balance. And now I can try a new one that just appeared, right? And it's a very cool thing about the game, I think.
Yeah. What class do you play, by the way? What you said you're a Mesmer Virtuoso main? Darren?
Me? No, I kind of just play everything, honestly. I kind of get bored and I just try something new. But I don't really play PvP that much. Honestly, I'm kind of a new player to that too, I guess.
Okay, well, but, we can play together. Yeah.
Yeah, true. We'll just get better on push. Definitely will turn out well.
Yeah. Wait, do you play on NA or EU? That's the thing.
I play on NA.
You play on NA. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, cool. I'm in Latin America, so I have the same ping in both servers, so I don't really care.
Oh, shit. Wait, you live in Latin America?
Yeah,
and you ping Chile. The same? Wait,
it's kind of crazy.
How is that possible? Wouldn't you? You would definitely ping worse to Europe, no?
Yeah, like a little bit. It's like 180, 170 in NA versus like 200, 230 in EU. It's just routing stuff. It's very weird.
Routing, no, I get it because I play from Korea, so I play with 175 to 200 as well to NA. Yeah,
you know the pain. You know how it is.
I know the pain. Yep, I know. Here's the thing. So when a new game comes out in Korea, I get to play these games with one ping.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then when it comes out in global, I play with 200 ping. You know what I mean? So and the thing is, my viewers, man, you motherfuckers always complaining about your ping when these guys are always shitting on me, blaming, telling me I'm making excuses for high ping, and then the moment they play on a KR server, they are bitching to the moon saying it's unplayable. No, it's ping diff. I'm a motherfucker. You better not be giving me shit when I complain about ping playing NA now.
True. It's so bad because sometimes there's like, I don't know, lag issues with the servers or whatever. And like, oh my God, guys, I have 160 ms. What am I going to do? And I'm like, bro, I play this every day. Okay. What are you even saying?
Yeah,
here?
Exactly. Okay. I will say this though. Playing Guild Wars 2 though, even in SPVP, now granted, it's probably because I'm playing at a very shitty, bad level, but it doesn't actually feel bad at all. I just feel a little bit, but it really doesn't feel bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually traveled to the US a few months ago, and I could tell the difference, but it didn't feel that different. Like it was still fun when I got here.
Yeah. So again, this might be a very ignorant, naive take, but so far, at least at my skill level, it feels like the most ping-friendly PvP MMO I've played for PvP. Yeah, because some games it's just not playable. I mean, you can really feel it. Maybe it's because I'm still shit at the game. It could be that, but so far it really has not felt bad.
Really, I don't think there are many cases where the ping matters that much in Guild Wars 2. I really don't. I mean, people might argue that there's some mechanics that are slightly more difficult or whatever, but I think you can kind of adapt to everything. I mean, I jump back and forth between NA and EU, and it's not a huge deal for me. I do get slightly tilted though when I make the swap to EU because my ping increases by like 120. And and it's like, oh, okay, dodge the mechanic. I'm like, I dodged the mechanic, I swear, but then I die to it because I didn't dodge early enough.
Yeah. Even that. So I played a lot of Lost Ark, obviously, a lot of PvE content, and just in general, when you have like a telegraph that you have to get out of, it's like if you get out of it at the nick of time, pretty much it's like you get out of it, and then like as you get out of it, it explodes. With my ping, you're always getting clipped. But I feel like in Guild Wars 2, that is reduced by like almost 50%. It's felt like, for me at least so far, like when I see a big red circle and I feel like I just got out of it, more times than none, the game registers me as out of it to the point where I get confused. I'm like, wait a second, generally with my 200 ping, I should have been clipped by that, but I'm good. So I don't know. Maybe yes. I see someone in the chat. Maybe it's a net coding thing or something. But it's it definitely feels very ping friendly, high ping friendly.
Yeah, I think so. I think netcode from ANET is very good. I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty sure that ArenaNet helped NCSoft with the Throne of Liberty's netcode. I'm not sure how that game did in that regard, but I know that they, people really admire them for that, which is, I mean, it works very well here, right?
Yeah, Throne. Yeah, when it comes to that type of stuff with Throne is interesting because Throne was originally supposed to be a static mobile autoplay game. That's how it was designed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it was designed, and the beta test was so bad. The feedback was it was just it was not well received, right? And they completely redid it. So that's why a lot of us think it's kind of like Throne. What kind of plagues Throne is the spaghetti code, because there's a difference between designing a game from the ground up with the intent of making it dynamic versus, hey, we want to make this a static mobile autoplay game and then quickly and try to change it within months. You know, like I feel like there's a big difference between that, right? Because NCSoft of all companies, one thing they do know how to do is make combat, right? I mean, Ion was great tab targeting. Blade and Soul, arguably one of the best action combat of all time. I wouldn't put ArenaNet there or Guild Wars 2 just because I never really, for me, ArenaNet does not equal NCSoft, even though it does, right?
No,
even though it is a subsidiary of it. It does. I don't really like. I just see it as a different team. You know what I mean? Like NCSoft, they develop. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they develop. NCSoft develops their own games with their own teams, but with Guild Wars 2, even though it is owned by NCSoft, it's not, or it was not developed by the NCSoft team. You know what I mean? Like, so I generally, when I say NCSoft games, I exclude Guild Wars 2 from it. But ArenaNet, like, if you want, just so you know, my opinion on, I've been pretty vocal about this even before I played Guild Wars 2. I personally think Guild Wars 2, even though it is hybridy, I still think it falls under the category of tab targeting. I genuinely think Guild Wars 2 is the best tab targeting combat in the genre.
Really?
Yeah. No, I
think so.
I would definitely agree with that. The only one maybe like WoW, but in a very different way, right?
I think more and more players are playing with controller. I really do. I mean, I was mentoring a raid group, and I said, okay, I need somebody to share their screen. So they shared, and I was like, wait a second, are you in action cam? He's like, hell yeah, brother. I'm like, what?
Right? That's
right?
awesome.
And I used to be really, I don't know what the word is. I used to be like, yo, you should not do that because, you know, you're going to be at a disadvantage and blah, 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 blah. But the more, as I've grown older, I guess, I've just been like, who cares? If you can accomplish the thing in action cam, just do it. If you enjoy playing the game with action cam, just do it. And if it's, especially if it's for an accessibility reason, do it. You're going to have fun. Games are about fun. Do whatever you want. And I actually think that Guild Wars does a pretty good job at making the game accessible with controller. I wish that it had native support for that. It doesn't. But they do have action cam, and action cam works pretty well.
Yeah, I will never use action cam until they allow me to place an AoE at my fucking feet.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it, and that's why I usually tell people it's a bit of a problem.
Yep. Everyone told, so everyone's like, oh, you should try it. I was like, fine, I will try it. And within the first 5 minutes, I recognized I cannot put an AoE. When I first tried it, I was like, okay, this does feel pretty good. Okay. And then the moment I already had the whole, I can't pan my camera and look behind me while I'm moving a direction in my mind, which that is objectively a disadvantage. But okay, whatever, you know,
it's really bad in PvP. Like really bad.
Exactly. Absolutely. The moment I found out, and within the first 5 minutes, I could not place the AoE right at my feet. I was like, yep, not doing it. Especially because the tab targeting, again, I personally think the tab targeting in this game is the best in the genre. So it's like, why would I go to like a decent action combat mode over what I think is the best tab targeting combat in the genre? Like, it just makes no sense to me logically, right? Like, again, my personal subjective opinion.
No, I think you're right. It kind of sucks because in a lot of ways, I mean, there's no reason to. Like, if you like it, that's fine. But yeah, it gives you a lot of disadvantages, and you do miss a very important part of the combat by doing that for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, it does create some interesting problems. Like I've been in a group one time and I was like, why can you not do this mechanic? And then I realized that they were playing on action cam and there was like no hope that they were going to be able to do it because it was
there are actual PvE mechs where it requires non-action cam.
Yeah, I almost spoiled it. I won't spoil it, but there
makes
is
it way harder, right?
Okay, yeah, no spoiler for that. That I definitely don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, I won't spoil you on the mechanic, but I'll just generally speaking, if you're using action cam, you have to look away from the boss, and if you needed to like teleport somewhere or go somewhere or like do something somewhere, you have to like perfectly aim at that location with your face.
Yeah.
Right? And that makes it far harder to execute precise movement, in my opinion. Obviously, there's some people that get really good at it. Like some people I would never know. But I think for the average person, it is just slightly more difficult.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, I have a cool question for you. I have a really cool question. You know, I was talking with MightyTeapot the other day, and I feel like I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but we're doing a raid tournament this Saturday. And I was thinking, I'm not going to invite you to be the raid tournament for Saturday, but I was thinking, hey, what if we held something where it's like you and your streamer friends are doing a blind race or a race with your guilds or something, and we could commentate it, even if it was just one wing, where you folks are racing through it, or it's like all of your first attempt and you're all trying to do it all at once. Who can beat it the fastest? So, I don't know, spitballing ideas. Would you ever be interested in doing something like that?
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think I got I don't think I grasped exactly what you're asking. Is that
would you be down to like
in general?
Yeah, would you be down to like let's say we wanted to like cast your like a race through like either a blind race or maybe you get experience first and then you try to perfect it a little bit with your guilds or whatever. Would you be interested in like racing each other? And we could do like a group versus group, like a streamer versus streamer type of. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I was actually talking about this a little bit on my stream, and I think it prompted my chat to like go to Teapot's channel and talk, and that's how I actually ended up DMing him. We spoke a little bit about doing some type of collab for the new expansion, the new raids coming up, because the new raids coming up, everyone's pretty much on ground zero, right? We can learn the raids together if we were to do them. Yeah. And hopefully we know what the fuck we're doing, at least on one class by then. We'll figure it out.
Hopefully, right? So it's funny you mentioned that, because that's something I would love to set up, and I think we can set up. Just as you're spitballing ideas, some ideas that I have. Now, granted, before I go off on this tangent, I do want to be like I wouldn't want to do anything that's going to spoil anything, right? So like if it's a raid that we've done, then for sure. But if it's something that we haven't done yet, then obviously we'd have to wait until after we've experienced the raid. But I was even thinking of so this is just something I thought of, and it is on the table. Maybe you can be involved. I did talk a little bit about just general ideas with the new expansion with Teapot, but one thing I would like to do is either have like a joint raid where some of me and my streamer friends join the Guild Wars 2 streamer friends and see if we can do a raid together, or the other option would be to actually put two different streamer groups together and see who can clear them first. So like the best ideal situation is the new raid that drops, right? To see either the Guild Wars 2 streamers versus, let's just say, the Lost Ark streamers. Because here's the thing, Lost Ark streamers, I have a lot of friends in the Lost Ark category, right? Those motherfuckers are very proud people. Like, they think they're the best, raid gamers, right? And there's a lot of pride there. And to be fair, they're gamers. They are gamers. That's the thing. Lost Ark. Okay, here's the thing. Now, this might prompt another fucking discussion, but what I mean by Lost Ark gamers are proud is that a lot of Lost Ark gamers believe that their PvE content is the most challenging PvE content in the MMO genre. Okay. Now, obviously, a lot of gamers think that from their respective categories and their respective games, but Lost Ark, as someone that has played it, I will agree, out of all the MMOs I've personally played, if we were to take the pinnacle fight, the most challenging fight of each respective game, I don't know of any MMO right now so far that is more difficult than the pinnacle most difficult fight that Lost Ark had, which was Theamine Gate 4. Theamine Gate 3, Gate 4, Gate 4 specifically, the first version. It's insanely difficult. So, that's a different discussion we can have, but I think it would be really fun if I can get some of my Lost Ark friends to come in, maybe prep for a raid, a new raid that none of us have done, so it would have to be the next expansion. And then you guys get your group, and then we do a little race, see who can clear it first. I think that would be super fun, but easier said than done, obviously. Yeah,
that would be super
easier,
cool. Yeah, no,
easier said than done.
Teapot developed a bunch of tech, so we've done a bunch of raid tournaments. Like we're doing one this weekend where we've put a bunch of essentially artificial challenges, because the game, if you've played the game forever and you're a really good team, the game is actually quite easy, right? So we've created some artificial challenges to kind of spice it up. And it's going to be kind of cool. But when I was talking to Teapot the other day about it, I was like, I feel like it'd be really cool to get new streamer teams in there, just go and, I was kind of inspired by watching what people have been doing in the old school RuneScape community, and just streamers getting involved, trying things, just getting in there. It's like, why don't we do something like that for Guild Wars 2? I feel like Guild Wars 2 is always just neglected with these kind of things. Everybody just kind of keeps to their own bubble. They just do their thing. There's not like a lot of collaboration and stuff.
So in my opinion, the reason why that is, again, I know nothing about the Guild Wars 2 community in that regard, but generally speaking, that's normally because there's just a lack of initiative. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have that one or two people, that one person or those two people that'll actually put it together. And if you do, and there's a real effort there, generally it does come together. It does. In Lost Ark, you see people like Stoops and now John Powell. They're actively putting events together. And they're great events, but if they weren't there, it's like, who would have? I think my boy Stoops, he did something called like the Wambly. It was called the Wambly, which is a PvE tournament, right? Like a raid tournament competition. And it's like, if he didn't put that together, who would have? And if you look at the history, no one would have. So like, he was the one person. So it just takes, in my opinion, like one or two people to initiate that, and there's some and there could be some traction, because generally, like, if you, like, even now you're asking about this raid thing, I would be down. Of course, I'm definitely down. I'd be more than happy to reach out to my creator friends and get something going. That's what we want to do, right? It's like, we want to do something fun and do something that we think is going to be good content. If it's a combination of both, that's the perfect storm. So I'm down, definitely, for sure. We start our first raid, by the way, on Sunday.
Oh yeah, Sunday. That's perfect.
Yeah,
I will watch with great interest.
That.
Do you know what wing you're gonna do? Are you just gonna start at 1 and just go?
Sir, I think you're spoiling it by telling us they're wings. I don't know what the fuck. Are we just going to raid?
That's just what they're called.
Whoa, snap!
Okay. I just know that
the game.
I don't know. Like, I just know that there are 3 raids in Path of Heart of Thorns. Heart of Thorns, and we're gonna go to whatever the first one is, and figure it out. That's it. Like, nothing. We're not doing any research.
Doesn't really mean
nothing.
Anything. Don't worry, it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
It's just kind of like raid 1.
I guess gate 1, gate 2. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess wing 1.
Yeah, that would make sense. We'll start at the first one that was made. Yeah. It's good that you're going in order.
Okay.
I think going in order gives you a pretty authentic experience as well.
Yeah.
I won't talk more about it, because I want to go. My brain is like ready to like tell you about difficulty and stuff, but I won't. I'll just let you experience it. It'll be really interesting.
Yes, do not.
Like
even the fractal. Yeah, like even the fractal experience, I'm so glad none of us knew what it was going to be like. Like, we didn't know if we go in there and then the final bosses would be hard. We didn't know there's an underwater fucking thing. I think if there's any content we skip, we might skip the underwater one for tiers 2, 3, and 4. Because my chat did tell us that tier 2, 3, and 4 is the same as tier 1, just amped up in difficulty. They're all the same fights, though. Is that true?
Yes.
Level. Mm-hmm.
Have they told you about? I'll say the word, and then I won't go further if you don't know about it. Have they told you about instabilities, or like the whatever they're called? What are they? Is that what they're called, Darren's? The things in fractals, the effects.
Yeah, instabilities.
Yeah.
Instability. Wait. Are you talking about the thing that we need the gear for?
Nope.
Infusions?
Okay, we won't say anymore. Good luck.
Okay, never mind. Okay.
Good
This
luck,
will be
bro.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be very interesting to watch.
It will be very interesting
we
to
have
watch.
no
They're
idea.
correct. It does ramp up in difficulty, but that's just the nature of fractals, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They eventually
Gotcha.
get harder
Yeah.
and harder and harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really anything you're missing out from just going to. I mean, if you find it very difficult.
Yeah. Question.
Definitely.
So in tier 4, and let's just say tier 4 level. Okay, so I guess 75 through 100. Just to understand the structure of it, is 75 easier than 100? Not specifically, but just generally, because like, are the lower numbers, so like 75 through 80, generally supposed to be easier than like 90 to 100? If that makes sense, or not necessarily. It's just all the dungeons in tier 4s are just kind of all.
I think you kind of got to. I don't really want to tell you too much about this. I think you kind of got to experience it. But
okay, that's fine.
You can think of them. One way to think of this that isn't really spoilery is that they're kind of in chunks, right? Like you've heard of like the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. They're kind of in chunks of difficulty.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So, by the way, shout outs to the Guild Wars 2 community for doing a fantastic job for not spoiling a lot of shit. Generally, it's like you ask for no spoilers and you get spoiled. Minus a few of you cockheads out there. 99% of you guys, fantastic. And we do, the streamers, on behalf of the streamers, I will say we definitely do appreciate that. Yeah. For sure.
I think there's some beauty in going in blind and just trying it out. And like, I was really clear with you when I invited you here. I was like, I'm not going to spoil anything unless you ask me specifically about something. And even then I might decline, because I think it's so much fun to go in there and not know anything. And I didn't really understand that until I tried Classic WoW. I went into Classic WoW for the first time, and I started on hardcore. I don't know if you ever played hardcore. You have one life, right?
Did you really?
I did. It was the most exhilarating experience because everything was new.
What level did you die?
The first time I died at level 3 to a boar. But then I learned. I didn't know how aggro worked.
Before you answered, over or under level 10? Yeah.
I didn't understand how aggro worked, so my little minion, I was a warlock. My little minion pulled like 4 boars, and I was like, oh boy,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah. That's why I asked what level. I was gonna ask chat over or under level 10, but yeah, there you go.
I also died at level 13 to Gazoos in Skull Rock. That was also an experience. I'd spent like 3 hours hanging out with this guy. We did like all the quests there together. We go into Skull Rock. I walk by Gazoos. It spawns on top of me. Shadowbolt, dead. And then the guy went and cried on my corpse. It was a magical experience. So then I just was like, all right, time to go again. It's really fun. But yeah, it's super fun playing something for the first time. I don't think people should spoil it, because when you are actively problem solving and you're going in, you're like, I have no idea what this means. That's just part of the experience. And honestly, I think what's so valuable to me in this conversation that we've had is I don't know what it's like to be a new player anymore. I don't. And I had to come to terms with that, because sometimes people would say my takes were bad because I didn't know what it was like to be a new player. And I would always be really defensive. I think they're just right. I actually think they're absolutely correct. I have no idea what it's like to be a new player now. And the reason is because being a new player in 2012 is very different than being a new player now. I remember the general feeling of everything being new.
That's very true.
But there's a billion more systems, bosses, updates, you name it. It's way more complex now. And being able to kind of, through your lens, understand, where roadblocks are, what's complex, what's not, that is fascinating to me. So I want you to experience that authentically so that I can also learn from your experience.
Yeah, I think that's a great take. I think you are absolutely right. I know it's objectively true that playing a game for the first time as a new player 10 to 12 years after its development versus playing it out the gate or even within a year of its development, it's just going to be more difficult, right? Because that's kind of like a double-edged sword within the MMO genre, especially for vertical progression games, but also horizontal. just the longer the game an MMO is out, because it's a live service game, you need more content, right? Like you're not going to be sitting there repeating the same content forever. So after 10 years, you look back and you realize how far your game has grown, how much more depth the game has, how many more layers the game has. And then all of that depth and all of those layers they are things that a new player now has to go through in a very condensed period of time. And it's on you as a game developer to either allow them to skip it, to go through it streamlined, to make them go through it slowly. Like there's pros and cons to each one. So that is definitely it's for sure objectively true that it's more difficult to get into it. But yeah, I think for me, diving into a lot of different MMOs has helped me to understand just in general new player perspective a bit more. There's always just going to be bias, and there's just always going to be a bias when you're trying to look through the lens of a new player for a game you really know. They're just an extreme example is this. It's like we all know MMOs and play games, right? If my mom played Guild Wars 2, right? And I'm like, and she enters the game and she needs to get past an obstacle. I'm like, Mom, just jump. She's going to be like, how do I jump? You know what I mean? It's like I'm thinking because it's so second nature to us, because we know you press space bar to jump, right? It's like we just know.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like when you and that's like an extreme example, but generally when you go into a new MMO, there's a lot of things, verbiage, there are a lot of the UI design, systems, progression systems, combat, all that stuff that are just foreign. You just don't know, right? And then when you're getting help from people or guidance from people or anyone just talking to someone that knows the game, it's almost like they're speaking a different language at first. You're just like, it's and a game like Guild Wars 2 has a lot of depth.
Yeah, even something like CC that most people don't even know that when you start an MMO, and that's like super easy jargon that you need to know how in order to play the game, especially in a game like Guild Wars 2. Or I don't know if you have this experience, but with people that don't play games as much, they always have this insane issue of having to move with their character with WSD and moving the mouse at the same time. This is like one of the biggest reasons why so many people can't play MMOs, because they can't coordinate both hands at the same time. And this is like not something that I would never think about as someone who has played these games for many, many years. Same. It's super interesting.
Honestly, same.
This brings up a really important conversation as well. And I'm curious what you folks would think about this. When people say that the game is difficult or easy, this means very different things to different people. Difficulty can have there's different kinds of difficulty. I find that the biggest point of difficulty in Guild Wars 2 is not necessarily mechanical difficulty, but dexterity. Most people struggle with being able to do something fast enough or being able to move in the right place. They can't react quick. They don't have the dexterity, the hand-eye coordination. Those things for most casual players are very, very challenging. And it was something that I discounted for a long time, because if you've played a game forever, it's like second nature at some point. Everything just feels really easy to you. But when somebody's coming into this for the first time, dodging the boss's attack, it doesn't matter how long the how long the yellow triangle is there. People are still going to miss the dodge because they can't react fast enough. Or they don't know what it means, or they're not able to get to the right place at the right time. Do you find that the game is difficult mechanically or not difficult mechanically? Do you find that the game is difficult in a dexterity way? Like, what do you think? What's your experience so far?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I've played a lot of MMOs now, and keep in mind, this is based off of PvE. PvP, a little bit different. PvE wise, I think the biggest difficulty that I've found with Guild Wars 2 is just 100% knowledge. I think when it comes to like execution, the pacing of the fights, the mechs, I don't think there's anything difficult, especially difficult about this game compared to other games. I would argue that the difficulty when it comes to player, I guess, piloting and controlling your character is way more difficult in other MMOs. Definitely, if we're comparing raids, even though I haven't done raids, so I guess dungeons, I should say. I would say it's definitely more difficult in a game like Lost Ark, right? I mean, if we're talking about reaction times, I mean, not only do you have to like, here's an example of a Lost Ark raid, one of the more difficult raids. Not only do you have to recognize patterns, but they also have patterns that fake you out that look like the same pattern, but it's different. So it's recognition there. And then you have like an iframe on a space, which is a dodge, and you need to time that dodge for specific attacks. And if you don't have the dodge up, you're doomed. Right. So like these types of things are very present in games like Lost Ark. But in Guild Wars 2, obviously I haven't gotten to the raid, so I don't know yet. But so far in the content that I've experienced in Guild Wars 2, which is obviously very entry level, and I recognize that, I haven't yet experienced anything that was too difficult mechanically. Now, for casual players, this is different. So I guess going back to the root, this is a very long answer for a very simple question, which I think the difficulty in Guild Wars 2 as a new player so far is just knowledge. It's just knowledge. Like, even as someone that knows certain things, like I didn't have to have an explanation on what stability is. I just knew it because, again, as PvP, right? But just that type of knowledge, oh, we need stability here. Like a new player, even if you're a seasoned MMO vet, you might not know what the fuck stability is or why it even exists. You know what I mean? I had like in one of the fights that we had where we wiped because we didn't break the boss, right? And I was the only person that knew that a CC/Defiance skill could break that meter. And that was because I asked about it in my chat because I noticed, I was like, this is a new stat. I don't see the Defiance. I've never seen this. What is Defiance? It's like, oh, that's to break the CC meter. And obviously I have MMO knowledge and I can see a bar there very clearly. That's generally a stagger bar. In Lost Ark, you have stagger damage, which is the same thing as Defiance, right? So I was able to relay that information. But a new player, especially a casual player, would have no way of actually knowing that. And that's where the difficulty lies. In my opinion, it's more of a knowledge thing with just how Guild Wars 2 works, rather than holy shit, I need a dodge at this very moment or I'm fucked.
I see.
Right.
So far, the reason I asked this question is like, I know that you haven't done a lot of stuff yet, right? Like you haven't done you haven't done any raids.
I don't know.
You've done
I
some
kind of want to know, but
fractals. And so I'm curious to see how
we're
this
almost
changes.
through tier 1. Yeah.
I'm very curious to see how this changes.
Yeah.
And the reason is,
can I just add one thing?
Yeah, please do.
Can I just add one thing? I would be shocked if this remained through the raids. And I will be honest, I would be very disappointed if it did remain. So I'm expecting and hoping that it changes in raids, meaning like, oh shit, if you don't make it here in time, or you have to dodge this, or you know what I mean? Like that piloting difficulty going up, I'm expecting it, and I'm hoping it's present for the raids, because so far it hasn't been.
All right.
Yeah, the reason I asked this, I won't give you any spoilers, but I've always sort of thought that there's a bit of an issue with getting people to understand the importance of dodging a mechanic. And the reason is because I think that in a lot of the game, it's not very important to engage with the mechanics. And so what ends up happening is that there's this massive leap in difficulty all of a sudden, where it's like, not only are you supposed to know your class really well, but you also need to have the dexterity to dodge all these things, because they'll just kill you otherwise. But I'm not sure, again, because it's hard to put yourself in the shoes of a new player now. So I really want to see how that ends up going for you. I think with all your MMO experience, a lot of things might become trivialized, but I think there'll be moments as well where you're like, oh, well, what, like, how do we stop this? How do we stop dying here? Yeah. And I'm really excited to see you journey through that.
I could already begin to tell, I guess from a fractals perspective, I could already tell that some of those fights I'm expecting to be kind of a challenge. I remember one of the fights was one where this guy keeps teleporting around, and the floors beneath you, they start disappearing. So your positioning on where you are is really important. It's a joke in tier 1, relatively speaking. There's no penalty when you fall off the platform. You just get thrown back up. You know, it's like a little DPS window, and he goes back to it. So it's easy to clear. But a fight like that, I'm hoping, and I'm kind of thinking, it will become much more difficult in tier 4, to the point where I can, like right now, I'm kind of seeing just, oh, I see this design. I could see this being very challenging later on, depending on kind of where they go with it. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it's a challenge.
Yeah, no, I don't know if that's a spoiler. I think I know the fractal you're talking about. So, let me ask you something else. And what fractal do you think was the most interesting? Do you think it was that one?
Well, we haven't finished all of them. Right now we've got, I think we're on floor 20, I think. Yeah, I think we got like 5 more fractals until we clear tier 1. So we haven't seen all of them. So far, my favorite one was the wolf one, because that one felt like the first time we actually did a real fight with a boss. It was the one where you go through the maybe it was a bear. You go through the beginning part of it. You're going through and you're like trying to you have to turn on the fires. You got to put the fires on.
That's the newest one. That's actually very funny.
Yeah,
I say that
fractal, at least in tier 1, was the most fun for us, because that was the first one where we felt like we needed some real coordination with the boss, and it wasn't just oh fuck, he's dead. What the fuck did we just do? You know what I mean? Like, that was the one where we had to do the defiance break when the meter showed up. You know,
right?
And then we got to repeat the very first fractal, the fire one, and that fight was also a lot better now that it was more difficult, because he had we were actually going through the mechs. So as far as like our favorite ones that we've experienced so far, probably the bear one, I would say. I guess Kinfall is what the chat is saying.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think there's a lot of difference between the and you probably will notice this later, but there's a lot of difference between like core fractals and the newest ones. They're definitely a bit more complex and more interesting in this way, but they have like the core ones have a very cool charm to them, I think, which is very cool. I'm very interested to see what you're gonna say at the end when you experience all of them.
I'm ready for some difficult boss fights. That's what I'm ready for, because all the PvE content we've gone through so far, the difficulty has been trying to figure out how to get, okay, so like the level 40 dungeon, for example, one of the paths, we were stuck on it for a while because we were trying to figure out how the fuck to get through. The boss was a joke, but the difficulty in the raid was like us. There's 2 difficult parts of the raid. The first one was there are spikes that would come up from the ground, and it would just wreck us. We're like, how the fuck are we going to kill these ads? And then later on, come to find out, we have to jump on the rugs, right? And then the other one was like taking these barrels and placing them on the ground at the same time while the NPCs are trying to pick them up. Like, figuring that out is what took us a lot of time. That was fun. That was really fun. It was a great experience. But it wasn't the type of difficulty we were expecting going into Guild Wars 2. You know what I mean? Like, we were expecting.
This is exactly why I brought that difficulty conversation up.
Yeah.
It's super interesting because Guild Wars 2, I believe, thrives on cooperative difficulty, on those puzzles that you need to do, trying to get people to all do something in sync or do something in a specific time frame. And I'm not sure if you've seen that much yet, because I think, in my opinion, a lot of tier 1 fractals are mostly just like you go in, you just like bash the boss. Like, you can kind of break the fight, so to speak, by doing reasonable damage. So if you prepared in any way, you'll probably just slaughter a lot of those as far as damage and stuff is concerned. But it's challenging to create difficult content in Guild Wars 2 because of the horizontal system. Because everybody, there's quite a bit of power creep in the game. So if you think about this, when the first wings came out,
I see what you mean. Yeah,
the damage was at a certain, but then they release new weapons and specs, and things get stronger and stronger and stronger. And now, but wing 1 hasn't changed, right? So there's what you'll see is like the game is hard to design, because do you make something have a DPS check, or do you make something have a bunch of cooperation? How do you make it so that there's both, but it's not like a total slog. I think that Guild Wars 2 exists in a very challenging design space that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even though the game is not vertical, there is a power creep. You're right. There absolutely is, because of the elite specs and all, and you know, all that stuff. So you're absolutely right. Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, it makes me kind of curious as to how much easier our first raid is going to be. Our Heart of Thorns raids are going to be in comparison to you guys. I mean, of course, it's still going to be difficult for us, but just in comparison to like the people that did it day one when they came out, you know, because they are there without the elite specs. Probably a different experience for sure.
It was way harder. Like they wiped and wiped and wiped and wiped, and in like in never-ending circles of wipe, just because it was really hard. But now,
so it'll be fun for you guys to watch. Yeah, because now it'll be fun for you guys to see too, because this is essentially reliving that, only with modern day, quote unquote, modern day technology, right? Like with the modern day elite specs. So I'm sure there are a lot of people in the Guild Wars 2 community that's also curious as to how fast it's going to, how fast we can clear it, how difficult it is now versus before for a blind group. That'll be definitely interesting to see.
Do not watch the tournament this weekend.
As well, right?
Yeah, do not watch the tournament this weekend.
When is
it? It's on Saturday.
Okay.
Or it starts kind of.
I'm actually out of town this Saturday, so that works.
Good. Yeah, don't watch it, but after you've tried the raids, watch it, and what you'll see is that the best teams in the game just slaughter these things. Just like it's almost unfair, right? You like feel bad for the boss after, right? Like it's just an absolute slaughter,
bro. This is so. Wait, which are you guys doing the raid that we're doing?
They'll do all of them.
You guys should do. Okay, because I was gonna say, if you do, okay, so it's gonna be super cool for the Guild Wars 2 community to see expert veteran players clear it, and then a bunch of first timers trying to clear it the day after, because we're doing it on Sunday.
Oh my
I think
God.
that's perfect.
That's
a great weekend. Yeah. You guys are eating well, Guild Wars 2 community. You guys are eating well.
Good content. Actually, I wonder if we can just give you after you do wing one, right? We can maybe give you only the wing one bod, if you would be interested, and just react to it. And probably that would be interesting.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe we can. Yeah, after we're done with it, maybe.
It's so cool.
Someone's in the chat asking if we're using DPS meters. A couple of us do have it on, just because we like to have it on. Do you guys think we should turn it off for the raid? Is that?
No.
Do you think we should?
Holy.
Or no, it doesn't matter.
This is my opinion.
I don't think so. No.
No, it's kind of like asking, should you take the speedometer out of your car? It's like, I guess you can, but don't you want to know how fast you're going? I think more information is better.
I don't know, right? Yeah.
You have to make fun of the people who do ZDPS, Kanon. What do you mean? What's the content otherwise?
Let me rewind a little bit. I don't think you should be super concerned about it. Put it that way. I don't think so either. And you probably won't be able to interpret the information very well anyway, right? Like you won't really know what's good or bad on any of the bosses anyway, so that doesn't matter.
Sure.
But having that benchmark is good.
People,
because like you could see yourself improve over time, and I think that's valuable in and of itself. More data is always better. I actually think it's a big problem in Guild Wars. Like people don't know if they're doing well or not, but the game keeps giving them participation trophies, and then they think they're doing really well, but they may not be. So it's better to have that info.
Yeah. By the way, the fact that we can use a DPS meter in Guild Wars 2, a PvE game for the PvE stuff, I love that. By the way, it's what there's so coming into Guild Wars 2 has been kind of eye opening for me in a lot of different areas. It is so many different areas, and that's why I'm like so hooked on this game. Not just specifically because of one thing, you know what I mean? It's just like a combination of everything. I love playing my class, Brobender. Willbender, I call it Brobender. I love the class. You know, I love the PvP design, the PvE. I'm excited for. Excuse me. I've actually really enjoyed the progression content. I've now started to really appreciate the crafting content. The community has been super nice, super nice. It's just the fact that I could use a DPS meter. You know, just a lot of these small little things have really added to the experience with Guild Wars 2. And bro, it's been a while since I played an MMO, and I've been this, I guess, kind of hooked / addicted to the game a month or so after covering it. Generally, I'll get that with new games, but it's because it's new, right? It's a new game. It's easy to get hooked on something that's new. This is not a new game. You know what I mean?
No.
So yeah. It's been great. It's been, and here's the thing: all of the other streamers that I've talked, almost all the other streamers that I've talked to, have either said good things or have also said that they're low key pretty hooked on the game as well. So that's always good.
It's very interesting. I think it's because Guild Wars 2 is kind of a timeless game, right? It's very well designed. There's a lot of very good content, and you can just come back to it at any point, and it's going to be great regardless. And it's a very different experience, at least I've found, from other MMORPGs. It's very unique. It's very original. That's why I really, I don't know. I've always found Arena like a super cool company because they just really, even if maybe it doesn't go the best, they just go and do something new and whatever.
Try it.
And I think that's why. Yeah, that's why this game is like, kind of just it's just always good to play.
Bro, I have a question. When the fuck are they gonna release a gauntlet weapon?
A gauntlet?
Oh,
well,
a gauntlet weapon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are a few skins. There are a few skins, if that works for you.
I want a goddamn weapon.
I agree with you. I always wished for that, but I don't know if they will or not. I think there's some complexity with adding. Oh man, like maybe, but again, it just adds so many more builds. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm kind of good with Guild Wars making a whole bunch more content. And I know this is not a good marketing
less classes.
Thing. Yeah, like I just like let me feast on the content.
Yeah. You're not wrong. There needs to be a balance. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what could happen maybe, and I could see this. Maybe there's gonna be like a fist class, a fist elite spec. I could see that if we're going elite specs again in a later expansion.
Yeah.
But
like imagine you press your F1, you bring out like spiritual fists, and your character's just doing whatever, right?
With your like,
nah, give me a fist. No, give me gauntlets, man. Okay, listen. Good luck. Discontinue the weapons after just one. I'm just asking for one more, man. Just fists, just gauntlets, not stupid gloves. I want fists, like spiky armor, or like spiky, like massive, gauntlet weapon fist like things. Yeah, that's what I want. Just one more. Yeah. You add that, I'll please, just give me
play the game forever, Internet. Forever.
But here's the thing, even fist. I'll play it forever. Yes. Just give me fist. Unless you really drop the ball with fist, then So look, man.
What if it's Condi fists? What happens then?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If they release fists, then first of all, Condi fists. Okay, so here's the thing. If they release fists, I would imagine that multiple classes get access to it, right? So like I would think a Condi fist class that has a magic. Think about like a gauntlet. I mean, obviously we're thinking like warrior, maybe even guardian that has like this melee, awesome, sick fist that's beat them up. But then you could also make it range. Like you could have like this gauntlet, like magic gauntlet on Necro, like that is kind of like a ranged, like whatever, right? That can be Condi. I'm a guardian main though. Make guardian power, power gauntlet for guardian. Okay.
There you go.
You guys, I've been told that you guys love Guardian. Love them a little bit more. Just love them a little bit more to add the gauntlet, power gauntlet. Let's see it.
That's all I don't agree with the love after Luminary, but we'll see. I think Luminary.
Yeah, some people have definitely changed their opinion on that, but yeah.
Luminary is going to be great. Luminary did not excite me. Luminary, if I'm honest. Yeah,
I don't know. I like the idea of being infused in. It's like kind of like a paladin a little bit. We didn't have that in Guardian as much, right? Like Drowned Hunter was supposed to be that, but they went the trap part, which is not really.
I didn't think it was bad by any stretch. For me personally, it didn't really excite me.
I think it's incredibly powerful. I think it'll be incredibly powerful.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think it's really inspiring or that cool, but I think it's going to be really strong. That's my guess.
So I'm a Luminary main, is what you're saying?
I guess so.
I'm a Luminary maid in 3 months. 2 months.
I feel like there will be a bunker luminary build for sure for PvE. I don't know. I get that feeling. You know, I get that feeling. Wait, which one is the one that you like the most?
Again? Are you playing Guardian? Sorry, we talked at the same time.
I'm Guardian. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Willbender Guardian. Yep.
There you go. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, which is the most exciting of the new elite specs you found? Have you seen them actually? With the new announcements.
Yeah. I'll be honest, because you have to understand, like all the new elite specs are fresh for me. So like, Willbender is exactly what I was looking for.
Right.
It's great. It's the new specs. Amongst the new specs that I saw, I think the coolest looking one, after hearing about its kit, probably the Ranger one, the Spirit Ranger, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That actually looks pretty good in action. Yeah, cool. I think the dumbest one is the Indiana Jones one. I think I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Here's the So this is what I told my chat. Now, granted, I think it could potentially be very powerful. Like, so I'm not talking about performance here. I'm talking about class concept, right? So here's what I told my chat. Here's what I told my chat. You've got an expansion. That's a big deal for a video game, right? And with this expansion, you're bringing out a new class. Let's just call it that. I know it's like an elite spec, but let's just generally speaking, it's on par with other games releasing a new class. So it's like, generally when you're trying to release a new class, or in this case, an elite spec, you're thinking of concept ideas that you think is going to be sick, right? So you know what would be sick? Right. A gauntlet class. For example, okay, and a real example I actually gave was Reaper. Necro greatsword wielding power Reaper. I remember when they dropped that class or that elite spec back in the day. I wasn't playing, but I heard about it, and just that concept was so cool to me that I low-key kind of wanted to check it out, because like I'm like, bro, a Reaper using a greatsword, like a Necro that's called Reaper that's using a greatsword, that sounds sick, right? Yeah. Bro, like who, like I want to know who the guy was that was at the idea table that was like, bro, hear me out. Indiana Jones with a guitar with rat jam all over the place, like just rats just spawning in all over the place. Okay. Yes. Like who, like, okay, come on. Who thought that would be like, yo, that would go hard. Fuck yeah. The masses are going to love this. I don't think anyone thought that, man. I don't know. Like, what were they thinking?
It's a good
I don't know, man. The cause of the class. I mean, is that what you want to do with your video game? Call it major fucking expansion, class release, and you're going to make a meme? I don't know, man. I'm just like, what was that
People
guy
like the
thinking?
script.
Dude, I guess so. Okay, to be fair, I don't mind the script elite, the script. I guess elite scale, right? The ultimate, the script jam stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. But like, dude, Indiana Jones playing a guitar, and I know a guitar is just one skill that they have. It's like all these things, but
it is a bit weird,
bro. I don't know.
It is weird.
Yeah, I
admit it's fully unhinged weird, but. Okay, the low-hanging fruit, which I can't believe they didn't do.
Okay.
I thought, I was convinced they were going to do Assassin. I thought they were just going to call it Assassin, do a throwback to Guild Wars 1, add some more comboing skills with the utilities. I thought, because you know how they did that with Spear? I thought they were going to do that with the utility skills and make some more like combos. Like, oh, if you use your 3 skill on your weapon and then use this, it has a different effect. I thought that's what they were going to do, because people
need to hire
love that. Right. Then I thought they were going to bring Shadow Form back and make it so that there was some kind of viable loosely. There was a stronger, like healer, right? I thought they could make a stronger healer for Thief through Assassin, and that would kind of fit with the theme in Guild Wars 1. Because did you ever play Guild Wars 1?
No. It's on my list.
The Assassin is so cool in Guild Wars 1. You have this skill. It's called like Shadow Form, and there are all kinds of builds that are all around Shadow Form, and it basically makes you invulnerable in a sense, just to make it simple. And so I thought they would do that, right? Like, you know how the Troubadour is getting that like crazy elite skill that gives everybody Distort or whatever? I thought Assassin would get that. So it is wild to me that they didn't do the low-hanging fruit and just do a throwback to Guild Wars 1 when they did that for Paragon and Ritualist.
Yeah. So can I just say something here? So
sure.
What you just described first and foremost, the moment you said assassin, start describing it, I was like, I immediately got the thought, bro, I would try that. That's kind of
good.
that sounds kind of
Neuron
exciting,
activation,
right?
Yeah.
That's what I might. That's my point. When you're coming out with a new class / spec in this case, you would think you're looking for ideas where people would get that feeling immediately. What if I told you the newest thief class was going to be an Indiana Jones class? Hear me out. Like, bro, immediately you're like, what the fuck or what? No, I don't want to hear you out. What are you talking about? Like, especially like you said, I didn't know this, but I guess assassin, hearing that sounds sick. And you're saying that assassin was also sick in Guild Wars 1.
It was so
bro,
sick.
like what is this? Let's come on, give me the assassin.
Do you want to hear something even worse though? Okay, here's even worse.
No.
If one of the new classes is not Dervish, it will be a catastrophe. Okay, so Dervish is very unique to Guild Wars 1.
Dervish?
Oh, it's so cool.
Okay.
Okay, get ready. So Dervish is like this like holy. It uses enchantment spells and it has like a scythe as its main weapon, and it just goes around and just like buffs itself up and just like destroys and cleaves down everything with a massive scythe. Like it's really freaking sick. And then it had some skills like called Vow of Silence. Oh yeah, Dervish was so cool. I thought we were gonna. Okay, this is what I thought.
Is it like Rev from Revenant?
That's what That's what I'm hoping. Like
it would be. It would be.
But didn't they already like go on Twitter and say like, oh yeah, these are the two names, like which is which or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and neither of them were Dervish.
Yeah, but you could argue maybe that Conduit is a new name for Dervish because Dervish technically talks about, like there's a thing with maybe, But okay, wait, Snap. What if instead
could be turkey?
Not happening. I don't know why they didn't do this. I thought it was the lowest hanging fruit. I mean, they did it with two of them. They brought back Paragon and Ritualist, which were two really fun and unique classes in Guild Wars 1.
You know what?
Why not just do Assassin
so hearing this as someone that doesn't play, the only logical conclusion that I could personally think of is maybe they wanted to balance that out. It's like, hey, we're already bringing back two classes from Guild Wars 2. Let's save that for next year. Which would make, I get that if that's the. But imagine Assassin and Dervish comes out next year.
Yeah,
then
we would know. Yeah,
it is I'm putting a link in the chat to Dervish so that people know what I'm talking about. It is. Here, I'll even read this. Serving the gods as holy warriors, dervishes stand confidently in the whirlwind of conflict. Martial techniques perfected in the deserts of Alona allow a dervish's scythe to lash out quickly at multiple opponents, surrounding the holy warrior with a swath of destruction. Like these things are so cool. Like they were so much fun to play. They had a skill called Vow of Silence that made it so all spells against you didn't work. And I also thought like that could be the elite skill, right?
That doesn't sound broken at all.
Well, you'd have to adjust it for Guild Wars 2.
I mean,
but
15-second duration on 10-second cooldown sounds reasonable.
10-man, you just silence everyone around you. Sounds very good. I mean, honestly, some of the effects on these new elite specs are pretty broken. Okay, we're gonna have to see how they end up working. Okay.
I will say this though, as a new player, hearing more classes coming in, more skills to learn, bro. I'm still trying to learn the shit that's in the game right now, and now we're bringing in more. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's for sure good for you guys, but as a new player, I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's more.
I don't know that it's that good for us either, right? Because of what I said before, right? Look, okay, put it this way. Okay. Would you rather eat your eggs and toast with a different fork every day, or would you rather just have a different meal?
Wait,
I know.
You know where I'm going? Would you rather eat the same breakfast every single day for the rest of your life, but just have a different fork to eat it with? Or would you rather have a different meal?
Of course, a different fork.
There you go.
You like the one of us. We can do the same content. We can do the same content every single day, but just do it with a different class. Or we can just have different content. Why don't we just have different content? I don't think we get enough content is the problem.
Yeah. That seems to be something that I have been hearing often from the veterans of the game. Yeah. Just because like And I can see that. I can kind of see where the road ends, right? Like once I'm done with everything, like if I'm thinking about it, really thinking about it, outside of the obvious chase items with legendaries and stuff like that, that will get boring, completing map completions and shit all the time, like for me, I'm just thinking, yeah, the replayability is going to just be putting together different specs and different classes and trying different things. As someone that, and just trying to put myself in the shoes of people that have been playing this for 12 years, it's like they've already gone through that. I mean, it's been over a decade. Yeah. Of course they've gone through that. So it's like, what incentive do they have? Yeah, they want more content. Makes sense for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely been one of the bad parts of the game. I think they've tried their best to give us enough. And they're definitely at least more consistent with it, which is very, very nice. Like, at least now you know what you're getting, right? Before it was very like, are we gonna get more? Are we gonna get less? Are we even gonna get an expansion? It was very like up in the air.
Yeah.
But now at least we know what we're getting, right?
Yeah, I definitely get what SNEB means, though. Obviously, that's a great analogy. I didn't get it at first, but yeah, after you said the second time, I got it. It's good. Yeah, it's. I mean,
it was a weird one.
12 p.m. here. To be fair, it's 12 p.m. and I've been up since 11 p.m.
Oh.
Yeah, this
Jesus
is like my
Christ,
time now.
Bro.
Yeah. It's
why do you
noon,
do you accept this podcast? This is crazy.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm happy to. I'm happy to join. But shoot, I forgot what my train of thought was. Yeah, the different fork thing.
Forks.
Yeah, what I want to ask you as people that are looking at this, as looking at this from the lens of like veterans such as yourselves, what is it outside of the classes and skill specs? What is it that you guys are looking forward to the most with this new expansion? Is there any content that you're actually looking forward to?
Oh, that's such a hard.
I mean, for me,
because it seems like everyone's just talking about the class, and here you are talking about the game needs more content, not a new fork. Makes sense, but this expansion, all the talk has been about the fork rather than the actual meal. So what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, personally, and this has been a little bit of the bad part of the last expansions, because honestly, the weapons, everything that's been in terms of gameplay, the fork, right, the classes, everything through these years has been absolutely great. The fork, the spear,
great analogy,
right?
Yeah,
it's been very, very good. But the content, not as much. The raid content was pretty good, I think. But for me, that I don't do that much raid, I only mainly do war bosses. They've not been the best. So that's really, I just really want some good war bosses, some good new metas. I just, that's all I want. If they give that to me, I'll be super happy. And I just don't care about anything else, honestly. But yeah, that's just me.
Okay. I think I can do a good job of explaining why people feel this way and why the sentiment is always talking about the things that augment content rather than content itself. Think about it like this. If Guild Wars 2 only releases like 1 raid wing or maybe 4 raid bosses a year or 3 raid bosses a year, what are the odds that 1 or 2 of them aren't really that exciting? Because you can't hit a home run every time.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're only releasing 3 bosses, maybe 1 is good. Maybe 1 is, it's okay. And maybe the other isn't very good. Now imagine that you split these bosses up, maybe. Or you make it so that the normal modes come out and then the challenge modes come out. And the normal modes are okay, and then the challenge modes, one of them is really just awful. And then you kind of see where I'm going here. Because they're piecemealing content and there isn't a ton of content, what ends up happening is if they have a bad piece of content, everybody is just like loses complete hope, and there's a drought for over a year. So what ends up happening is people stop expecting there to be good instanced content. Like, look, no spoilers, but they released a bunch of fractals, and there was a string of fractals that weren't very good. Like, the community didn't really like them that much. So then everyone expects the next fractal to not be very good. So when you ask me what I'm excited for, it's hard now as a Guild Wars 2 vet to be like really like honestly excited about the instance content when I don't know what kind of quality it's going to be. It could hit it out of the park. Like, I really enjoyed Ceres, which you haven't gotten to yet. You'll experience someday. But I didn't really like Greer in Wing 8, which again you'll experience at some point.
Okay.
And so it's like, okay, well, I just don't know what to expect from them. So can I say that I'm excited about it? It's like I'm hopeful, but at the same time, it's just so hit or miss that it's hard to be really excited about that stuff. What I'm more hopeful for is like what Darren said. I need a good world boss because look, like the same kind of problem, right? There've been a whole bunch of world bosses, big meta events in open world they've released that just haven't really been my cup of tea, at least. I think everybody's like craving. I can't wait till you get to End of Dragons. You'll see. Everyone's craving an End of Dragons experience. You won't know what that means now, but when you get there, you will. Okay.
Chat, I want you guys to type and let me know what kind of content you want to see added to Guild Wars 2. I want to read your guys' take. I'm watching the chat here. Question to continue on that there, Sneb. What kind of content would you like to see added to Guild Wars 2?
I was kind of a good example. Okay, I'm kind of the mid-high tier raider. I'm not super speed clear. I don't have a team, right? My whole shtick is I help people get into raid teams, right? I've got this community with like 9,000 people in the Discord. We've got over 140 teams. Ooh. That's kind of our thing. Is we do raids, we do strikes, we do fractals. That's our shtick. So forever it would be a raid. Like I don't know if you know the slug story. Have you heard about the slug story?
Oh
yet?
My god.
What's that?
So
no. Do I want to hear?
On record on a podcast, I said
do.
that if they ever added an 8th raid wing, that I would role play as a slug by covering my body in Vaseline and rolling around on the floor. Well, like 3 years later, they actually did add an 8th raid wing, and then I had to do it because the game director tweeted me and said, "It's time."
No way.
Yeah. So to commemorate that experience, they actually added a slug in the game. Yeah. In the 8th raid wing.
In wing 8, yeah.
That's called Sneb.
That's so funny.
But so I would normally say raids.
Though.
I would normally say raids, but I gotta say, like, I don't even know if it's good for the game anymore. Because there's so many issues with raids, like getting people in there, the reward systems. These are all things that you'll decide for yourself what you think. But there are a lot of problems, and I don't know that it's really that productive to keep making content that serves such a niche population and doesn't really get a ton of support.
Let me phrase it this way then. What do you think the game needs?
The game needs to work on its strengths, which are the open world cooperative meta events. Convergences are pretty good. People like those. I think that they've done themselves a huge disservice by not again, there's no spoilers here, but the story hasn't been very well received in quite some time. And I think that that's killing the casual player base, and we need the casual players. And then not only that,
absolutely,
but not having solid open world gameplay, just the maps being kind of devoid of life, or just not having any character when it comes to like the bosses and the events that are happening. I mean, that's maybe a harsh way to put it, but the meta event or like the prime event on a map defines the map to me. And if that's kind of weak, people will not keep playing it. It becomes dead content. I feel like the maps are very aesthetically beautiful, but they lack character in the way of content. And so I'd like to see them return to what they're really good at. I don't know if you've seen Triple Trouble yet. All I'll say is you've got to experience that with your streamer friends. It's one of the best events in the game. It is so fun. And it's not because it's super like DPS heavy, but it's because it requires a lot of cooperation. You'll understand my takes once you play that meta, okay? Because that to me is the pinnacle. It is the pinnacle of Guild Wars 2. It defines what Guild Wars 2 should be. And you can
play it right now.
Yeah, you guys can just go do it right now.
It's not an spoiler.
Yeah,
it's on core. Oh, really?
It's on core. It was like on release basically. Yeah.
Wait, is like a world boss? Like what is
world boss?
Yep.
One of the best designed ever. Yep.
So what is
they
it called?
Need to return to that. It's called Triple Trouble.
Triple Trouble. It's a world boss. Triple Trouble. Okay.
Yeah. Not having good open world content will kill the game. In my opinion,
Yes.
they have already seen kind of a downtick in excitement and engagement with the newest expansion because the open world content is not exciting enough. The maps are cool and whatever, but we need content that builds community. Like, fun fact about Triple Trouble, again, without spoilers, there are like 10 guilds in the game that have been alive for years and years and years that only focus on doing Triple Trouble every single day. That's their thing. Whole communities are built around that map because it's that fun and engaging. Where is that content in the last like 3 expansions? Where is it? That's what we need. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. To be fair to ArenaNet, I do feel like what they want is like they want to give a little bit to everyone, right? They don't want to abandon the raiders. They don't want to abandon the story people. They don't want to abandon the Warsoul people. But by doing that, they kind of stretch themselves too thin, right? And, at the end of the day, meta events, open world events are the thing that Guild Wars 2 does very, very well. And not focusing on that, it's kind of a mistake. And they can give a little bit to the others, but that part just needs to work well, right? It just needs to do it.
Well, this might be the most inferno take ever, but I would much rather them say, okay, we're going to give a back seat to raids, but we're going to improve the systems over time while we work on the content for open world. I'm fine with that as a raider. I would love to see them enhance rewards, and I don't know, I'm not a game dev, but I imagine doing something like that is probably less work than doing all the boss design and doing all the play testing and creating all the models. I'd much rather them fix some of the systems around raids before making another one, and then have them do like open world stuff. I think that's so important. I don't know. Is that a hot take?
I don't think so, but they're doing that, right? That's kind of what they said on the first Quality of Life, that they were going to merge, strikes with raids, right? So I'm guessing that's going to come with a big rework. I would hope so, at least.
We can hope, right? Like that's what I'm hopeful for. So I think your question is good. What do I expect? It's funny because I don't think anyone's ever asked me that, and I don't anticipate. This sounds so doomer. I don't mean it to be, but I never go in expecting that the instance content is going to be like mind blowing. I think that's setting myself up for disappointment because it could be really mind blowing, or it could be like kind of mid, right? Like Wing 8 to me, I enjoyed it, but there was I can't pinpoint it. There's something about it that's kind of like it's okay, but it's not. It's not my favorite thing to do, if that makes sense. It's very complex. Yeah. Anyway. Do you have any other questions for us? I know we're kind of getting low on time here and you're probably like exhausted, so.
No, I'm good. I was gonna just grab some of my Greek yogurt I have in my fridge, but I get not really, not particularly. I mean, I'm sure I have some. I just can't really think of any on the spot. I guess I do have one question. How have you found Guild Wars 2? How have you found Guild Wars 2 streaming wise as a streamer?
Ooh. Darren's go.
Why am I the one?
Obviously, we're not talking about like, oh, hey, new expansion comes out. That's going to be fun. Because like every game, right? Every game, new expansion, major content comes out. It's fun. You cover it. I'm talking about the day to day when there's no juice, right now, even there's something to talk about. But I'd imagine 6 months ago, you guys probably didn't have much, right? So like walk me through what it's like from your perspective as a Guild Wars 2 streamer specifically. I guess I'm more interested in the streaming side of things than the YouTube side of things. How's it been? Okay. How do you find Guild Wars 2?
I mean,
do you mind if I grab this? I could hear. Just
don't worry. Right. Yes, no.
Actually, could we take like 2 minutes just to I need to pee?
Okay, yeah.
Dude, I need to pee too. Holy fuck! Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Holy shit! Yeah, let's go pee. Oh my god. Okay, Snav, you talk.
I will entertain. Everyone just abandoned ship, and now I'm here. Okay, well, you know what? People? It's important to hydrate. And it sounds like our two friends have hydrated far more than myself. So I will take a swig of water. The question is like very difficult. I think this is very interesting because Darren's, for example, is more of a full-time streamer than I am. Like I'm more of a hobby streamer, to be honest, right? Like I don't make like full-time money off this. I do it because I love the game and I'm passionate about the community and I like streaming and I like talking to people. It's a way to make friends and socialize and communicate and it's kind of a creative outlet for me. But for Darren's, it's all of those things plus he does it more full-time, right? So I suppose the way that I interpret that question will be largely different than what Darren's might think or what Canon might think, right? I think that the Guild Wars 2 streaming, and I'll wait till they're fully back to talk about this in depth, but I think the Guild Wars 2 content creation scene in general, not just Twitch or YouTube or whatever, is a very interesting place because I think the kind of people that play Guild Wars 2 are like one of the main demographics. They're actually not all that interested in content. They more like creative content per se. I think people are more interested in like guides and like how-to videos, how to make a bunch of gold, that kind of stuff. I think there's fewer people that are interested in commentary on the game. People don't like it when you criticize the game, typically. I think it's quite complex.
Yeah. I that's your answer? Or should I go now?
Well, yeah, well, I was just waiting for Canon, right? I don't want him to be left out here. But yeah, I just gave them a bit of a preamble.
All right, I'm back.
I think, okay, now we can go. Did you hear anything I said?
Sorry. Yes. I didn't. I took my headphones off.
Well, let me give you the quick recap then. The quick recap is I think the way that we answer this will be a bit different because I'm more of a hobby streamer than Darren's is.
Okay.
And so that'll be a bit different, right? Like I have like a full-time job and I do a lot of stuff as well, but I do this because I love it. And so I'm not necessarily
That's awesome.
The context for greater context, I actually am a PhD student and I study influencer marketing and gambling. So this is really interesting in the MMO space for me, right? And so there's part passion, part hobby, part just interest, but it changes the way that I might answer that question because for me, when I look at it day to day as a streamer, I'm not necessarily looking at like the dollars and cents per se. I'm more so looking at the vibes,
sure.
right? Like how do people treat me? How do people act in the community? Am I having a good time? And I would say that Guild Wars 2 ebbs and flows a lot in that regard. And I think it's ebbed upward right now, and that's really positive. But there's a lot of experiences where I've had a bad time because I think the community in Guild Wars 2, the primary demographic traditionally hasn't been a community that's as interested in narrative-driven content or even commentary, and have been more interested in like build guides, how do I just beat the game, that kind of stuff. So in some ways, streaming the game or making any kind of content for the game can feel a bit uninspiring at times because here's a good example. A picture of somebody getting their first legendary will get like 800 upvotes on Reddit, and somebody that beats the entire first raid wing using only auto attacks, they will get like 40 upvotes. So people don't really like celebrate those kind of achievements and challenges and stuff in the same way that other communities might. And as a consequence of that, it's really difficult to come up with content that people actually want to watch and that people are interested in. It seems like no matter how creative you are, there's always kind of this like, people just don't really care about that in Guild Wars 2. At least that's my vibe. But I'm curious what Darren's might think.
I mean, I would probably agree with you in a lot of ways, right? I think that in a lot of ways, YouTube is really the way to kind of grow in this game because you kind of, you make guides, you tell people what to do, and they kind of like you for that with good reason, right? And then obviously they're going to want to chat about the game in your chat, right? The other option, of course, is doing events, but it is definitely difficult, not only because maybe there's not as much engagement as in other games, but also because sometimes you don't get, I don't know, for example, if you want like a lot of people doing something inside of the game, realistically, only the big guys like Teapot or whatever can really get a lot of, people just come in and let's do this. And let's make a 50-man only necromancer X meta event, right? Sure, other people can do it, but even then,
I used to do that.
It is definitely difficult. Yeah,
right?
I do remember that.
It's changed a lot, right? Like the game demographic has changed a lot. Like people are not very competitive in Guild Wars 2, so it's hard to do those things, and people don't watch it, right? I used to, like, I have videos on my channel. They're kind of scuffed and whatever, but like I have videos where it's like, okay, we're all going to do this meta event I did it with 50 Necros, with 50 Warriors, with 50, and I was able to get 50 people like instantly for these challenges. And this was like 3-4 years ago. Now, I don't know. Sorry, Darren, I had to interject. Go ahead.
No, I agree. No, that's kind of what I mean. Because that back then it was Darren's end, and there was a lot of people going for that. Now it's a bit harder to do that, and it really feels. And I think you're right with this. Like, it's like the meme. Like, we're so back, it's so over. It just feels like that's kind of what Guild Wars 2 is right now. Is like, oh my god, there's a new patch. Everyone's, oh yeah, let's go. And then maybe nothing happens, and everyone's just kind of dooming. And it's just like, oh, it's just a bit hard to maintain the energy.
Well, but it's because of what I said
before. People happy because they love the game. Yeah, I agree.
It's because of the content cadence. If they miss, they miss big, because the next time they can make up for it is months down the line. And it's so consequential. I actually feel bad for Arena in many respects in that way. It's so difficult because if they're at all off with the content and people don't like it, the community goes into this like whirlpool of despair. It's really hard to keep the community kind of just like chugging along. There are just really high highs and really low lows.
Which sometimes it's kind of fun, right? Like it is interesting to like kind of try and keep people from dooming if they're like dooming hard, and it's kind of fun to like be in the high highs, but sometimes it definitely can be like a bit tiring, right? Like sometimes you just want to be like, can we just relax? Can we just enjoy the game? It's a great game. Let's just go. So yeah, it's a bit interesting. It's an interesting game to stream for sure.
This is very interesting to me.
Yeah,
it's very interesting to me. No, it really is.
No, it is. No, I know. I agree.
Like, the reason why I asked this is because, and I wanted to focus. I know we talked about YouTube, but the reason why I asked specifically about Twitch was because, this game has a lot of people playing it, man. There are actually a few games out there that are underrated in terms of player pop. Here's an example: Warframe. Do you know how many people play Warframe?
It's insane.
If you don't play Warframe, you would think it's like, oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, I'm sure they have people play. I'm sure there's a decent amount of play. But if you actually look at the Steam chart numbers, it would blow you away. It could blow you away. There's a lot of people that play it, right? There's a community there. So for Guild Wars 2, bro, this game has a lot of people that fucking play it. And after entering the category, there is a Twitch community, or there is a community of people that are willing to be on Twitch, right? I see a lot of the same names come in all the time. And I can assure you a lot of these names, the newer names, the Guild Wars 2 names that I've seen, they're not from my community. I mean, I guess a lot of them are a part of my community now, but there are new names. I met a lot of people, a lot of new viewers through Guild Wars 2. And for a game that's as good as it is, now, I get the fact that it's horizontal. I get that, which I'm getting to. It's my next point. But for a game that is as good as Guild Wars 2 and has as many players as it does, I was always very surprised as to how low the viewership is for Guild Wars 2 on Twitch specifically. And I just wanted to get some insight. That's why I asked you, because you guys have been streaming it for quite some time.
Do you want me to pop off about it? I could pop off and go like,
I would love to hear your input. because a very common argument, a very common answer to this is, oh, it's a horizontal game. And yeah, there is definitely some truth to that for sure. But at the end of the day, if we're comparing content to vertical games, bro, you know what they're doing in BDO? Like, bro, no, seriously, wait, can you open up a Black Desert Online stream right now? Like, can you actually show the stream? Well, I don't know if you have that scene set up, but I shit you not, you open up a Black Desert Online stream right now, you pull up the first five streams, I bet you anything they're running around in circles killing mobs.
Yep.
I would bet money that's what you do. They're just killing them up.
No,
I see
that is true.
Vert. I see Vert streaming right now. He's number 2 in the category. What's he doing? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's running around in circles, killing mobs. That's what he's doing. So it's like, bro, like it can't. I don't know if it's just a horizontal versus vertical diff. You know what I'm saying? Even the vertical games, you're just running around in circles doing boring shit anyway.
Before you go, Snap, I just want to say one thing. It's very interesting that you mentioned Black Desert, because I bet that is very similar in Warframe, because Warframe is a huge game, but also doesn't have as huge of a viewership, which I always found weird. But it's because, I think in that game is because it's the same type of content always, right? It's just farming, right? But it is weird that Guild Wars 2, because Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that issue. It has a lot of different types of content that you can do, but it doesn't have the viewership, right? It's very interesting. Now you can do your Snap. You can go.
All right, I'm gonna pop off.
Lay it on me, bro.
I'm gonna pop off.
I'm a student. I want to know. Yeah.
I need to preface this with, these are just purely my opinions. I think that in the Guild Wars 2 streaming scene has a massive culture problem. I've been very critical of this, and I get a lot of flack for it. A lot. Like, people will actively fight against this opinion. I don't care. I still am gonna stick to my guns here.
I love it. I can't wait for this. Give me the juice.
I think that a lot of people that stream Guild Wars 2 just do incessant amounts of gimmicks. They don't focus on content and creating content. They just do like gimmicks to get people to watch. And one of these gimmicks is to do like an insane amount of giveaways, or to just have like all these like weird incentives on their stream. And to me, it dilutes the category to the point where we are essentially we're just bribing people to watch. We're just trying to get them to be present, but nobody actually builds that community and like tries to rally people around doing things and making people excited about the game. You tune into a stream and they're like barely saying anything, or they're just saying like hello every once in a while to people in the chat, and then they're just giving shit away for like the next 3 hours. And they turn a profit on that. Some people do different things, right? In the past, people would do a lot of the like, okay, if you sub, I'll give you 10 times sub luck and you can win this legendary weapon. And then people get like 100 subs off of that, right? And this is like
what?
Yes, this is a thing. There was also a time when that
was a saga. Okay.
Yeah, there's a saga when people had like a Patreon and people would like subscribe and they do like exclusive giveaways to that. Like, look, I am all for giving stuff away and like having a good time and whatever, but I think that Guild Wars 2, rather than focusing on creating content, a lot of content creators go and just try to bribe people to watch. Now that I've mentioned this, you're going to notice this, right? When you go in, think about how many people just have giveaway in their title. There just isn't a lot happening, and it's largely because I find a lot of Guild Wars 2 players to be, especially
I'm gonna put in my title tomorrow.
Yeah, you can. You'll get more viewers. You'll get more viewers.
Giveaway.
People used to come.
Giveaway hell.
We call it giveaway hell. People come to my channel sometimes and they say, "Why don't you do a giveaway? You'll get more viewers." Like, they say that all the time. And I'm like, because I don't want to bribe you people to be here. I'm just here for the vibes. Like, let's hang out. Let's do some content. Let's do raids. Let's learn together. Like, let's do anything that's not just bribing you to be here. I just think that it's just so, I don't know. I get why people do it. I can't disrespect people for trying to make a living out of content creation or any, like, I get it. But I think the consequence of doing this is that you look at the category and you're like, what are people doing in Guild Wars 2? Like, what are they doing? And the answer is very little, right? Like, they're not. Yeah. They're like, you could run around. Do you think
that's a byproduct of the game, though?
In some ways, yes. Like, in some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Right. Okay. I think it's such a complicated answer. I think because of the content cadence in Guild Wars 2, I think some content creators have a hard time sticking around and like kind of getting through the hard times, so to speak, the famine, right? Because they've run out of stuff to do and they can't think of, they can't like create their own content. They're not necessarily like narrative driven content people. They're not going to do challenges or whatever. And they're like, well, if there's no story, I don't know what to do. Or if there's no new maps for me to try, I'm not sure what to do. I have no new goals. What do I do? And that happens to a lot of people, I would think. And yeah, I guess I guess that is partially because of the content cadence, but I also think that people just tend to not take a lot of initiative. Like you were talking about this before, right? How I'm saying, hey, like what if we did this tournament? To give you an idea, if Teapot and I don't hold a raid tournament, and by the way, I have no ego with this. We do not own raid tournaments. Anybody can host one. If we don't, people message me and say, please, can you get a tournament going? And if I don't want to, it doesn't happen. Or at least historically it hasn't. I hope it happens. I want the community to be super vibrant, right? I have no ego with this. It's crazy that nobody else does it.
Literally what I said earlier. Yeah.
But nobody takes the initiative. And so what ends up happening is there are very, very few community events. Very few. To the point where every time we host one, everyone believes it's the last. They're like, oh, this is the last. This could potentially be the last raid tournament if they don't host another one.
Right.
Which is, I think, a bad thing. So I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just because people are afraid to do that. Granted, like it is actually very hard to host those things. You make a lot of enemies. I've talked about this quite a lot. I actually feel like in some ways it's hurt me quite a bit to do like raid tournaments and host a community where we're putting people together on teams and doing those things, because you become the bad guy at some point. You have to enforce the rule or, people don't like the way you set it up or they don't like a rule. And it does become quite challenging. And I think that might be why some people do it. But I also think it's just not lucrative. Like I don't really do it for the money, right? I'm more of a hobby streamer, but I know that it's not lucrative to run these tournaments. It's not, for the amount of time that we put in.
Oh, yeah.
And as a consequence, I think the people that are trying to make it full time, because there's just a handful of people in the Guild Wars 2 community that really do it full time. For those people, would you rather make a guide video that's going to get 30,000 views on YouTube? Or would you rather host a tournament where you make a bunch of enemies and now people are talking shit about you on Reddit?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the answer is pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about what you said earlier about people expecting giveaways. And I think it ends up being this like cycle, this like vicious cycle where people that want actual content in Guild Wars 2, they see the giveaway streams. They're like, oh, I guess nobody streams that has actual interesting content or whatever. And then those people leave. And then obviously the streamers keep doing the giveaway thing because it works, right? And then they just always do it. And whenever someone that actually brings content to the game comes in and does it, the people that would want to watch that no longer are there. And they kind of get punished for that. And it doesn't happen every time. I feel like, for example, Parental has a lot of very cool community events, and he has succeeded that way, and it's awesome, right?
Yeah, he's taking the initiative.
It was definitely very. I bet. Yeah, he's doing the initiative. But even for him, like he should get way more people.
He should have like, 3 times the viewers for these things.
It should be way better.
100%.
Yeah, like there's like no reason not to, right? Yeah. So I think it's just we're kind of in a situation where we've suffered through years of this, and now we have to bring it back.
I've got another one. This
all right.
I'm really opinionated about this. I actually think a lot of people are afraid to have opinions in the Guild Wars 2 category. People are really afraid to critique the game.
Really?
Even if it's balanced. Yeah. Like when I say something like, I don't think the content cadence is very good, and I'm kind of going hard at that. I think a lot of content creators don't want to talk about that stuff in the Guild Wars 2 category. And the reason is because they often get punished by the community for that. The community is like extremely passionate about the game, and criticism is met with punishment. Like if you say that kind of stuff, it can get you in trouble, right? Here's a good example. When they, I can't, this might be kind of spoil. Okay, I got to figure out how to say this without being spoilery. There was an event that came out that was quite difficult at one point in time. And when this happened, the success rate of this event was like 10 to 15% max. Like it was quite low. And it's because the skill level of players was quite low. But the event was very doable if you ran a good build and did those sorts of things, right? So I was beating this event every day with no problem. Like never struggled, right? It was relatively easy for us. And people were like, what the heck, right? So I would go and watch other streamers do it, and I would say things like, hey, like you can do it, like you got it. Like I would try to encourage them, and this was met with a lot of animosity. people thought that we were essentially mocking them. They thought that because we were saying, hey, like you folk, like it's doable, like you can do it. We don't even need to nerf it. Like you can do this. You just need to make some slight changes. This was met with so much animosity that there was another streamer, it was a very small streamer, told MightyTeapot to go jump off a bridge. And and said that because we told this person that it was doable, they rejected it outright. Then live on stream, we said, look, man, all you have to do is like this thing and you'll beat it every time. And he was like, no, it's impossible. We had one person infiltrate, do that thing, which was create subgroups, and they beat it. And the guy is like in total denial live on stream. But like this is what you deal with, right? People don't want to have opinions and strong opinions because it can get them in trouble. And so what ends up happening is the Guild Wars 2 category just becomes this like, it's like you're in Disneyland and everyone's just like dancing and singing. Like it seems like everything's fine, but nobody wants to talk about the ways that you can improve the game or the little flaws that it's like, hey, we could make it so much better if we did this. I think people are not, they're afraid to have really strong opinions. Yeah, they're afraid of it. I think it's getting better, to be fair. I actually think it has gotten better over the last, I would say, year. But there was a time for years where it's like you couldn't have a negative opinion of the game or you would just get destroyed by people. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why it's gotten better is because there are new players, right? There are new players who don't really have this type of mentality coming from other games. And then, well, they kind of not replace, but they kind of like they have a stronger voice.
It balances it out, right? So you can have these opinions without getting punished by them.
It sounds like y'all need a new wave of people.
Yes, I would agree. This is why do you think we're so excited that people like you are playing the game? The reason we're so excited is because having a new wave of people breathes so much life into the game. We get to watch you experience things that we experienced a long time ago and see how and live through you with that. But it also is refreshing to hear someone say, you know, that you didn't like certain parts of the game and you thought they were really bad, and then you also highlight areas that were really good. It's so refreshing to hear those balanced takes because I think it just becomes this like constant circle of positivity sometimes. And I think it's important to have people that are willing to come out and be like, this sucks. It needs to be fixed. Like I can tell you right now, PvP, Scourge needs to be balanced. It is the most ridiculously broken thing ever right now. It is disgusting. And the fact that it's left like this is very bad. But lots of people would be really...
I was thinking about playing one.
Look, I would. If I were you, I'd play it right now too.
Good. I'm a brand new player and that was like... I immediately could like as a new player that doesn't understand and know a lot of things, right? I come in there and even I could immediately recognize. I was asking my chat, I'm like, chat, what the fuck is that? Because that is like, well, what is happening? And they're like, Scourge. It's Scourge. I'm like,
Jesus
okay,
Christ.
that's me. I'm a future Scourge main. Is that what I'm a future Scourge main.
No, you're not gonna like it. It's Condi, bro. It's over. It is what it is.
Another thing that you might find interesting is that the Guild Wars 2 community, and whenever I say this, it's painting pretty broad strokes, so take that with a grain of salt. But I think a lot of people in the Guild Wars 2 community aren't very performance based, and so what ends up happening is people don't really care or they don't understand what it means to be good at the game. And in fact, I think a lot of people, you'll hear, like, this is everywhere, but you hear this like elitism narrative. And it's like kind of ridiculous because if I'm going to someone and I'm saying, hey, if you want to do really well at this raid boss, you might consider bringing these classes. People are like, well, that's elitist because you should be able to play whatever you want. I bought the game. I should do whatever I want. Like there's sort of this like weird mentality. And again, changing because we're getting so much new blood. But there's always been this kind of like weird casuals versus elitist things in Guild Wars 2. But there are effectively no elitists. Like it's such a weird thing because if you go because you're playing on NA, right? Go look at the LFG for raids. there is barely anything. Why? Because the quote unquote elitists don't want to even bother being in there. Because if they go in there, they're going to have all these experiences where people just join their group randomly. You can't gear inspect them. You have no idea. You have to trust them. People lie about their experience level and stuff. And then you have to kick them. And then you get flamed out in a DM because you're elitist for kicking them. People just avoid that system altogether by just making their own groups in Discords now. So the game actually looks very dead when it comes to raids and strikes, because on NA, all these people are playing in Discords. Like I said, my server, 140 teams, 1,400 people are not using the LFG. That's a pretty big slice of the NA LFG.
That is a lot of people.
That is a lot of people, right? Now, granted, some of those are EU, but still, a reasonable slice of players are not engaging with the LFG system.
Right.
And the LFG system does suck.
Right.
Everybody knows that. But yeah, it's...
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's, yeah.
This has been very interesting to hear. Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the good
okay,
news.
to be fair, some of what you're saying is universal, though. You
Yeah,
know what
definitely.
I mean? Like, you know, like every MMO's rating scene has that battle between elitists, gatekeepers, casuals. You know, the people that are getting gatekept and the people that are gatekeeping. Right? It is something that's just universal in all raids, but it's interesting to hear how that situation is playing out in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah,
it's definitely interesting to hear.
So let me tell you the good news.
Yeah,
we should talk about the good news, because I believe in balance.
Okay.
There's a lot of good things happening right now. Darren's, finish your thought.
Like
though.
the Indiana Jones class.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say that it's interesting because in Guild Wars 2, like in other games, like the gatekeeping happens because of gear, right? Like it happens because of gear, because you can't get the best gear unless you do certain content. So it kind of it doesn't happen as much because the game gatekeeps you. But in this game, we kind of have to do it. Like we have, like the leader of the group needs to go and say, "Hey, you can join." You can't, and whatever. And then people take it a bit more personally because of that. But when the game is telling you, hey, you can't do it because you don't have this amount of gear, I think people just saw that pill a bit easier. Yeah.
It's less personal.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Awesomeness. That's good input. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. A lot of the content is fairly See, this is interesting because I tend to like self-censor myself a little bit because I'm always afraid of like the retribution, but I'll just say it. The game, a lot of the content is often very trivial in Guild Wars 2. People don't like to hear that because everyone perceives difficulty in a different way or whatever.
Sure.
But it's mostly, as we discussed, a knowledge check. Everything else isn't actually that difficult, right?
Okay. So it's to me, it sounds like what you're trying to say in a very delicate, subtle way is, motherfuckers, Guild Wars 2 is easy as shit. Almost everything is easy, minus maybe bar one or two things. Okay, look, you just suck.
Yeah,
that's
there's
kind of
and,
what
and
I'm
honestly,
hearing.
It's not even that the player is incapable; it's that they are stubborn. A lot of the time, people are just very stubborn and don't want to listen to reason and would rather name call and push blame than actually solve the problem, which is a frustrating endeavor. And I'm sure it happens everywhere. But anyway, let's talk about some of the positives that are happening with the game right now. The game is on actually a massive high right now after going through what I would call probably like a little bit of a slump. I think that there's more content being produced about the game than ever before. We had like 50 new ArenaNet partners, which was a massive jump. And now all these people are blasting content because they're like really inspired and excited. One of the other things...
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Real quick about that. I heard you guys got a big influx. Where are they? Like, are they? I don't mean that in like a negative way. I guess I kind of, but I mean that in a literal sense. Like, I look at the Twitch category quite a bit, And I've seen a couple of people be like, "Oh, new arena net partner. Okay, cool." But like, I heard you guys got a lot, right? Like, did they just target a bunch of YouTubers? Is that what they did? I just don't know. I'm asking because I don't know.
It is a big mix. I think what's important to note about this is, well, first of all, I will not talk badly about any partners because everybody earns it in their own right. But second of all,
absolutely.
Second of all, I think that people get partnered for different reasons, and there's not necessarily like a strong criteria for why you get partnered. This causes some confusion and discontent in the community, but you'll have people that have like 100 subscribers on YouTube that have partner, and then you'll have people that have 100,000. And there's reasons for this. Sometimes they want particular people to help give feedback on the game. Sometimes these people are very involved in like charity events that are like the big deals in the game. So partners aren't all necessarily about making a ton of content. You also have art partners. So people that just make like fan art for the game. And so all of these people at this point are treated the same. And there's pros and cons to that, of course. But that's why you don't necessarily see them as much, right? Because the people in the partner program are typically, not always, but typically like very heavy users of the game. And so sometimes that translates into them being like a big Twitch streamer, and sometimes that's a big YouTuber, but sometimes they're just somebody who's like kind of well known in the community or whatever. Yeah. So it's that's probably why you're not seeing that as much. But again,
makes sense. Yeah.
But here's the thing, you're probably not even seeing it as much because I would argue that a lot of these people make guides and things. Because again, there's this skew in Guild Wars 2 toward content that's more informational and educational rather than narrative driven or commentary. That's why a lot of these people might not necessarily be personalities, and that's no disrespect because there's different kinds of YouTube channels, right? Some people are more about just teaching and educating, and other people are more about their personality and being a comic or whatever, like that's their thing. No. So the partner program, I would argue that you got some personalities in there, but you also got a lot of people that are just doing a lot of guides, and they're doing website stuff. They're making web guides in the background. It's a whole spectrum of different kinds of people. Yeah.
So their program isn't based off of essentially viewership. It's
heavens no.
It's that's just part of it. I see. So they're bringing in people. It's more of like a like value added via function rather than.
I mean, I can't speak for the company really, but I can give my opinion.
Sure. Based off of what you've seen, of course.
To me, I think historically the partner program hasn't necessarily been like all about revenue generation or even necessarily about like having a really strong influencer program. I think it's more so, again, these are kind of bold statements, but I think it's always more so been kind of like a community driven thing. That's like, they do this because you have little perks as a partner, right? Like I can freely transfer servers and those sorts of things. Yeah. So it's more so about enabling community function, I guess, than it is about driving revenue. But I think that's kind of shifting in some ways. I think they're doing more strategy with influencers from other games and those sorts of things. So that's really good. But I mean, I can't speak for the company, right? I don't work there. I don't know exactly what their strategy is. But I can speak historically, like the partner program hasn't necessarily been like a focal point of their marketing. And I think that's largely because it's always just been kind of almost a fan service. But again, that may shift or is shifting.
Gotcha. Yeah. Is there an actual minimum requirement to apply / join or enter in?
There isn't a visible requirement. There is a contract that because of NDA, I can't speak about, but there is like a minimum amount of content that you're supposed to produce. But it doesn't look like there's a minimum to get in as far as there's nothing written.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering if there's a benchmark rather than like, obviously I don't want to talk to you about like the contract stuff. Just if there's a benchmark to be eligible. I guess your eligibility status.
That's actually one of the biggest pain points is there isn't. So it's really hard to know.
There isn't. Gotcha.
Like, you want to know how I got in?
Oh, that's a story.
Bro, this is an insane story. Oh my gosh. Okay, so see how I'm wearing a headband? This was kind of my thing, right? I have a Guild Wars 2 headband, and I wore this headband every day without washing it. And I said I would never wash the headband until I got partner. It was almost 3 years of wearing this headband nearly every day. It was yellow and rancid. It was disgusting. And like everybody knew about this, right? And I say I'm a hobby streamer. Think back, this is like pandemic. I was a student at the time. I was blasting. I was streaming like 6 days a week minimum. I was on podcasts. I was hanging out with all the other I was going hard, man. Like I played a lot. I also built this whole Discord community and all this stuff. I was blasting, and I applied every month for like 15 months in a row. And I never heard back. I never got anything. No indication whatsoever. And like people were advocating for me. They would put like hashtag Sneb for partner. Like they went so hard. And okay, this is where the story gets kind of sad, right? So I'm on stream one day, and I have 2 daughters. One's 5 and one's 2.5. And
oh, that's awesome.
So keep in mind, this was like a few years ago, like 3 years ago. My wife was pregnant with our second daughter, and she was like 6 months pregnant. It's the summer, and there's a fan meetup in Seattle. And I'm live on stream. My wife's in the chat or something, and people were like, bro, you should go. You should go. You should go. And I'm like, guys, I don't think I can go. She's going to be like 8 months pregnant when that's happening. My wife comes in the chat and she says, you have to go. Like you have put
holy shit.
She's
WY. Can I get some W's in the chat for the wife? Holy shit.
She says, you have to go. You are so passionate about this. You've done this for years. Like, it would be such a cool experience for you to meet all these people and just do that. Like, that would be so incredible. Damn. You have to go. And so off stream, I'm talking to her. I'm like, I really don't think I can go. Like, you're going to be 8 months pregnant. Like, that is a massive risk. And she was like, no, it'll be fine. Like, you're only going to be gone for 2 days. It'll be fine. So I decide to go. And the way that I'm going to do it is rather than fly, because I was a student at the time, broke student or whatever, right? So I get in my car and I start driving. I make it 30 kilometers outside my city. My tire explodes. I veer off the road. My 8-month pregnant, actually people don't know about this part of the story. I never talk about it. My 8-month pregnant wife comes and rescues me at the side of the road, gives me our second car that's like a 2001 Corolla. She sits at the side of the road and waits for the pickup truck, 8 months pregnant. And she says, go, you got to start driving or you're not going to make it in time. So I hit the road. It doesn't have cruise control. I drive for 12 hours or something, or maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 8 hours straight. I get to like one of my online friends who's like in my community and guild and like my raid team, stay at his house. He then drives me to Seattle the next day, and we do all the things. I stay with a developer of the game who was in the chat earlier, and we have like a good time. I plug in my phone, I put it down, and I go to sleep. I wake up. I have 150 messages on my phone. The first one I read was, "Congrats, you're a dad." And I was like, I already know that.
Oh my God.
And she was like, no, you're a dad again. And I was like, what? I sit there, it's 7 a.m. I'm completely stunned. And my daughter was born like 6 hours before while I was asleep. And I had no idea.
Oh my God.
So my wife's side of the story was that she was like at my parents' house visiting, and she was kind of feeling off. She went home, had a bunch of contractions, called my mom. My mom came, rescued her. My great aunt also went and helped. And then my wife and my mom were in the delivery room, and my mom supported my wife through it. And I had a new daughter. So I named my daughter's middle name is Jade, which is a reference to the Jade Sea, which you haven't experienced yet, but you will. It's, in my opinion, the most beautiful area in the game.
Oh my God. So that's so hold on. You named your daughter after Guild Wars 2?
Her middle name, yes. The chat also helped pick her name. But my wife, of course, had to say that she liked it. But anyway.
Of course.
Anyway, the reason I
Beautiful
tell
name,
this
by the way.
story
Beautiful name.
It is a very good
Yeah.
name.
is I went there to try to get partner because I needed them to see me, because it bothered me that they would never respond to me, right? So I went, shook the hand of all the different devs, like talked to all these different people. I helped them take down their setup at the end of the night at the fan event. The next day, Guild Wars 2 tweeted, "Welcome to the world, Willow," and retweeted me. And then within a week, I was partner.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, what a story.
Dude.
That's how I got partner.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Thank you for the
welcome.
raid. Thank
So
you for the
yeah,
raid.
that's
so
crazy, right?
That's
so this
a
is
crazy story.
so it's always been kind of obscure how you get partner, and it's I think it bothers quite a lot of people because I was blasting content. I was like everywhere, and back then I had like a higher CCV, and I was like I was constantly doing stuff. Right, I was involved in tournaments.
Right.
I created like a series of tournaments with Teapot. I was just involved in a lot of ways. I was constantly in other people's chats. I took it like really seriously at the time, but
Yeah.
it took me years of that consistency to get them to do it. That doesn't happen anymore, though. It's certainly
they've
changed
really
now.
And
Certainly,
it's
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. I think it's very cool because now people have like a very like, hey, if I do content, if I do things for the game, I'm gonna get it, and it feels like you're striving for something. I think it'll bring a lot of content creators in the game because of that, and it just feels very rewarding. I think for that reason.
yeah. So I go to all
You
the
can get
fan
a
stuff
Canon,
now that I can.
You
Like,
gotta
I'm
deal
going
with
to that
that.
same event this year, later this month. Actually, bought the plane ticket
What?
the other day.
Oh, it's this month. What is that?
Yeah.
Wait, there's an event.
Yeah, they do like a little
Yeah,
fan
in Seattle.
meetup it's pretty much every August now. Yeah,
Where?
it's in Seattle.
In Seattle.
Oh, Seattle. Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, wow.
It's really fun.
What's up, Darkbringer?
Yeah. All the
Say
people
it-
in it are super
interesting.
cool, to be honest.
What are you going to TwitchCon? Are you guys going to go to TwitchCon?
I've never been to TwitchCon. Look, I'll just be frank. Like, I feel like I'm not a big enough streamer to really go to TwitchCon. Like, I don't see any value in going.
yeah.
Right? So that's kind
A
of
lot of people say that. Yeah, there's a lot of streamers that feel that way. Yeah, I understand it.
But to be honest, as long as you meet someone that you want to meet there, right? Like if everybody from here went, like if Teapot goes, if you just never, like if everyone goes, like I think it's fine, right? Like it's just to meet there, right?
Yeah, I suppose
Honestly,
that's
bro.
Thing, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I've been a few times. It's like the almost every single person there is a streamer. They're not unless you're like an unless you're like one of those OTK guys where there is a legitimate, fan meet and greet. Like the 99% of the people that are there, they're just affiliated streamers, non-affiliated streamers, or partnered streamers. And it's just a place that, again, aside, like unless you have like a sponsor there or like a job to do there as a streamer, generally you just go out there to hang out. That's what it is. It's like if you and let's say, and a lot of times the staff goes there too. So like let's say you play Black Desert. Chances are some of the Black Desert CMs and GMs are going to go, and then chances are some of the partnered streamers from their program are going to go, and it's just a way to meet that staff team, and then the streamers that also stream your game, and you just kind of party and get to know them a little bit more, spend a fuck ton of money, and then leave.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I mean, to be a bit vulnerable, I guess. Like I used to think that like I would want to do streaming as a career, and like I used to kind of have that spark. But now I just kind of like do it because I just love
That's
hanging
awesome.
out with people, right? And so when I think about going to TwitchCon, I view it as like the same as when I go to academic conferences. When I go to academic conferences, I'm like, okay, these are the different people I've got to meet. I got to meet them because of these reasons. I'm trying to network, right? Like it's very business oriented for me, but I don't think I can treat Twitch like that. To me, Twitch is like art, right? Like I don't treat it like a business. Maybe I should, right? There's probably an argument for like, I could have a bigger stream, or I could have a bigger audience, or do more good, or like, there's probably lots of arguments for that, but I've just never treated it like that, right? I've always treated it like it's just kind of my art. So.
Well, specifically when it comes to TwitchCon, it would be more not. If you went, even if you were doing Twitch for the purpose of making money and treating it like a business, if you go to TwitchCon just becomes a party fest. That's all it is. Yeah, TwitchCon is never business. You just go there to hang out. That's literally what it is. Yeah.
And the thing is about, I feel like, streaming is that a lot of the times the part that is the fun part and the passion part kind of goes well with the business part. Like it'll lead you to the same spot. It will help your business anyways, right? Because I mean, look,
absolutely,
if you wanted money,
100%.
like I feel there's so many other jobs that you can do for money, right? Like you don't come here for money, and very, I mean, in some cases I get, but like it's about the passion, right? About the community.
Yeah, for sure. For
I've
sure.
been to PAX West like 5 times now.
So that's what it is. That's where their meet and greet thing is, the Guild Wars 2 thing. PAX West, is that what it's called?
Well, it's not necessarily an official part of PAX West. They combine it with PAX West because a lot of people come to town for PAX West. Yeah, they do it during the time.
Yeah.
Isn't NCSoft going to PAX? I think
not that I saw. Like but maybe they are.
I think so. I think there's like the west part of NCSoft, the one that kind of is associated with Internet. I think they are going. I don't know if it was PAX or not.
Wait, so
I know it's like
what is? Can you explain to me what the meet and greet is like for Guild Wars 2? Curious. I've been to some, obviously, for other games and whatnot, but what's it like for Guild Wars 2?
I've been a bunch of times. My wife and I actually went. My wife has a history with PAX West, I guess.
Listen, if you and your wife ever come to TwitchCon and I'm there, I want to shake her hand.
She's the nicest, most lovely person.
Yeah, she seems like a sweetheart. Man.
Oh my gosh, awesome. I am gonna expose this. It's actually our 8th wedding anniversary today, as well.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Wait, so you already did your thing with her, though, right?
We also have plans for Friday. Yeah. We booked dinner because it was complex.
Okay.
She had to go to work anyway.
Okay.
But wait, before I booked this, I went to her and said, "Hey, like, this is on our wedding anniversary, but we're not going to actually do anything that night, right? Because you're busy." And she was like, "Yeah, you should just like book that night. Just do that, and then on Friday we'll go." My wife is like the greatest human being ever. I'm telling you. She was a college athlete. She played basketball. She's really competitive. She actually coaches basketball. She's a national champion.
How long have you guys been married, if you don't mind me asking?
8 years. Yeah.
Okay.
8 years today. Yeah, long time. And the funny thing is, she's not a gamer.
By the way,
she's not a gamer at all. Nope.
Do you think that's a good thing that she's not?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
I've heard both sides.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons.
I mean, there's positives and negatives, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think one of the coolest things about me and my wife is like, my wife has hobbies that I don't really get in a sense, but I can still love that she loves them, right? Like, she loves to crochet. She makes blankets.
Yeah.
She loves basketball, right? I like basketball too, but she likes it on a deeper level, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'm like into this weird Twitch gaming thing, and she just like, she showed up on the stream earlier. You can watch the VOD, and she was like speaking Spanish to Darren's and like just, you know, she was just hanging out.
Hispanic.
Right? No, she's not actually. She
studied Spanish.
Yeah, she studied Spanish in college, so she was.
I
she
can
knows
speak
a little
Spanish. I speak Spanish fluently.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I can't speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish at all.
It's like it's a cool vibe, right? Like, it's cool that my wife has hobbies and things that she really loves, and I have things that I really love, and we can support each other in those things and unite on some shared interests as well. Like, my wife and I are like, what we're gonna do for our anniversary on Friday is we're gonna go play pickleball for an hour, and then we're gonna go get dinner, and that's our thing. We also have a hard time playing board games together because we're both so competitive. It actually has caused some like major fights. It's kind of funny.
No way. Are you serious?
We're both hyper competitive people, like hyper. She's like a national champion in basketball, right? Like, she's very competitive, and I have too much of an ego when it comes to some things, I think. So I get a little bit. I get hyper competitive about some things too. So that mixed is it makes for some fun events, but it could also make board games are just tough because we're both so competitive.
Oh my god. Yeah, that does sound an interesting situation there.
Yeah. Somebody
But I
asked
mean,
me if I speak
it's
French.
fun to be
I
competitive.
don't. I understand a little bit of French, like a few words here and there, because I'm from Canada, so we kind of like see it all the time on our food ingredients or whatever. But like, I don't live in the French part of Canada. I live in Alberta, so I don't really engage. I speak a language called Chukese, but that's a whole other story, I guess.
Yeah. Dude, Snap has a lot of stories, dude. He does.
Yeah.
He does. You know, let's not.
There's some big
There's
stories
some
that I'm
stories
known
there.
for. Yeah. I've also got a couple
Yeah,
songs.
let's not talk about. Oh, that's true. Dude, that's actually kind of. We should definitely. We should just post one of your songs in KanonXO one day, just randomly. It'll be very funny.
We should. the songs that are taken completely out of context.
Sure, dude. Out of context, bro.
What?
Sure.
Where are you from again, Sneb?
I'm from Alberta, Canada. I'm kind of south of Calgary.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of Canadians that play Guild Wars 2. Somebody asked me how old I am. I'm 31.
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah.
Most people think I'm quite a bit older because I have kids, but I got married when I was like 24, I think. My wife, my wife's a cougar. I can say that because it's funny. She's 4 years older than me. So I used to, when we were dating, I used to send her like
4 years old.
I used to send her like pictures of cougars at random just to like troll her, which was very amusing.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh,
that's
I
funny.
mean, 4 years is not that much. I don't think it's that bad, dude.
Look, if this Armaleth person, like if you live where you should DM me and tell me where you're from, and then I'll just confirm it. Because if you're from the city that I'm from, it'll be very funny because I live in like a city of like 100,000. So anyway.
I do get kind of scared when I hear someone that lives in my city. I'm like, oh my god, there's no chance, bro. But
especially down there.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, there's a lot. Dude, there's a lot of Chileans who play this game. I don't know why.
Really?
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah. I always get like comments, "Oh, you're Chilean too," and I guess maybe just they have the eye for it. I guess I don't know.
I may be traveling to Canada pretty soon.
Oh yeah, what part?
Possibly. Yeah. Vancouver.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not that far.
Just don't go to that one place.
What's that? Is it a spoiler?
There's a street that I always forget the name of. Just don't go there and you'll be fine.
Okay. That's good to know.
I forget the name of the street.
Yeah, just don't go to East Hastings, okay? Just don't go over there.
East Hastings? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good to know.
I guess, do you like being poked with sharp objects?
Is it? I mean, okay. I mean, it can't be as bad as some of the places I've been around in this.
Do you like zombies?
Well,
it's like it's a really.
Is it that really?
Yeah, I say that with kind of tongue in cheek, but there's a really big drug problem there.
Sure.
It's really quite sad, and it's really bad. It's really, really bad, and yeah, it's very sad. Yeah.
Noted. I appreciate that.
Be careful. Very sad.
I will.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I ask for directions to Snub? There's a lot of cool people.
Everyone should come to Alberta. Alberta's way better than British Columbia. Yeah, fight me in the chat. I don't care. I said it. Wow. We all know it's true. You guys have like 13% tax over there. That's insane.
That is.
You guys are getting ripped off.
Noggin is triggered. She's triggered. Look at her.
Yeah. I mean, even Noggin knows it's true.
I mean, whoa! I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think she's agreeing with you, dude.
Look, I've been to a few provinces in Canada, and I can tell you with absolution that some are better than others. Ontario, you go there, and it's just very busy, right? It's like a cool place. There's lots to do, but it's just very busy. It's very expensive as well. Saskatchewan, I went there once. I got off the plane, and I was like, huh, it is as flat as they say. There's nothing here. There's nothing here at all. But Alberta's got the mountains, so we're good. Yeah, Saskatchewan is a very
country.
Odd place.
Like it's gonna be hard to like. Yeah.
I need to go to Montreal. I mean, that's big. I need to go there.
Montreal is pretty cool. I did go in there. It's like going to Europe, but it's in Canada for some reason. It's actually pretty awesome.
Canada, it's surprising to see how many gamers are in Canada. I feel like there's so many people that actually game from Canada. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
freaking
There's a
cold
lot.
for like at least 6 months out of the year, and so you're just
Yeah.
dying
Yeah, what else are you gonna
inside.
do?
You're like, how can I like try to save my mental health when it's dark at 5 p.m. and there's barely any sunlight and it's like negative 30 degrees Celsius? What can I do? Oh, let me see these flashing lights in this video game and open these loot boxes. I don't know. It's like,
The loot box is hard.
yeah.
Guild Wars 2,
Yeah,
that's where it's at.
Yeah, dude. Snap, when are we doing loot box stream? That's what we need to do.
Yeah. So I mentioned before, but like my area of research, I'm interested in like gambling behaviors as it relates to consumption. So it's like a consumer behavior marketing PhD, and loot boxes are super interesting to me. I actually tried to get in on a project where there's this professor that was examining loot boxes internationally and like differences. And I actually kind of challenged him at a conference because I said that I thought his findings would actually be more due to game culture than some other things. It was preliminary work. Well, he'd published some stuff. I tried to get in on it, but he denied me.
Oh, unfortunate.
I wanted the data because loot box data is super hard to get because, of course, if you're a company, do you really want people knowing how people spend on loot boxes? Probably not. Probably not, because it's not going to be good. There's addictive qualities. Yeah. Anyway, it's super late. Are you guys dead? You might be dead.
I am kind of.
I could sit here.
Yeah, we're getting there.
I could tell you stories about my life for the next 4 hours, but that would probably start to get a bit weird. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down.
Podcast.
Maybe next podcast. Yeah, sure.
We'll have to
podcast.
re-engage after you go through a bunch of this stuff because I want to see how your opinion changes over time because I think it will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm more. I mean, you've got my
interesting.
info, so just feel free to DM me, and we can set it up. But yeah, I'm excited to get into everything and also make content around some stuff. I've got a lot of ideas. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. We'll definitely keep in touch and get some entertaining content going. Fun for us as creators and hopefully fun for the viewers to watch. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
I think thankfully Guild Wars 2 has a lot of things to give to us in that regard.
Bro, right now for me, like when I'm looking at Guild Wars 2, it's a content mine. It's like a gold mine right now. There's so much content.
Well, that's the beauty in this game. There's so much. There's so much opportunity here. The game is vast. It's a really beautiful game. There's so much to do. It's really quite complex. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for content that people just haven't really explored, especially content that is like narrative driven. There's like a story arc or a lot of commentary. I think there's really huge opportunity in Guild Wars 2 for content creation. But I think we're just realizing that now in some ways when all these new people are trying it. I think that a lot of content creators have kind of got stuck in their loops and they've been afraid to go out of them, but now's the time to take some risks and try some fun stuff.
Yeah,
looking forward to it, man.
It's time.
Yeah, just shout people out for the YouTube vid, I guess. Tell people how they can find you, both of you.
Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, no worries. I have a channel on YouTube, Guild Wars 2 stuff, Darren's MMO, Daily Slop, Elite Spec Slop, guys, and many other things. And you can go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, seeing what's happening in the MMO world, because I do want like talking about it a lot. So definitely follow me in twitch.tv/Darrens with S. And there you go. That's all I have to say. Thank you. It was a very fun conversation.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Sneb. Excuse me, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I guess, I'm KanonXO. All my socials are KanonXO. I'm streaming on Twitch almost every single day. MMO content on my YouTube as well. And be sure to not drop me a follow, but drop this man. I don't know where
I'm up.
I don't know where you are relative to the thing. Drop this man a follow, okay? You know, he's got a lot of good content. Seems like he's doing a lot of good for the Guild Wars 2 community. So yeah, be sure to subscribe to his channel. It is free. don't be El Cheapo. Just hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. If you don't want to hit the bell notification, that's fine. But at least hit the subscribe button for your boy. So yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you for the invite.
Awesome time. We'll reconnect soon. But until next time, guys, like, subscribe, put a comment down below about what you thought, and we'll see you next time.